Fridge to drink while I'm live. Some light to see while I'm live. You get outside to see the blizzard while I'm live. Put my microphone on so you can hear me better because I think it's I'm in a room that has a little bit of an echo in it. I'm in my all-season room, which I don't think I've ever been in before on TikTok. You know, that's a good question. How much snow am I going to get? Right now, let me show you. I'm using my phone today, so that way I can move it around. So right now, that's outside. That's my window. You can see it's above the window right now. Okay, there's an outside table, so you can see how high it's drifting. I mean, you can see some of the deck over there, but those are the drifts. Look at that door over there. Oops, I don't want to bump my phone. But you can see that door over there. It's actually getting above the sliders in the other part of the house over there. That's, by the way, that's my outdoor kitchen. I use that in the summertime, obviously. And there's the hot tub. I have it closed now. I was in it earlier this morning. But you can see the snow over at our pool house is actually up almost to the window. So the drifts are high. I don't know how much snow we're going to get, but it is still snowing. And I have 3 plow crews out doing my properties. But the problem that you have is that there is a driving ban. So they have to be careful when they go out, so they don't, get in the way of the plows that are on the street. So anyway, yeah, I figured that would be a good picture of the backyard during the blizzard. This is the other side of the yard. I just showed you that part of the house, but then this is the other side here. I'm lucky I can move around today. In fact, I'll open the door. So you can see we have some sliders here. In the summer, we open this whole room up. It's a 4 seasons room, and then we can go out to the deck. In fact, let me reverse. Can I reverse I think I can reverse my camera, right? Oh, maybe not. I don't know. But anyway, I'll show you this way. So you can see the blizzard. There's the snow. That's the snow. This is actually a fire pit that I picked up at Home Depot. I only use it once in a while, but it's actually pretty cool for $150. It has a gas propane thing in it. But you can see the drift over at the pool house. Look at that. Look how high that is. But anyway, I think it's a perfect day to go live. So this room here is a great room. In fact, before I built my studio during the whole pandemic, I actually had my portable streaming studio set up in here for my clients. We were streaming for Special Olympics Rhode Island. We were actually doing all the programming right from this room here during the whole pandemic. And of course, I built the studio in the other part of the house. So yeah, that slide is really cool. You know, everything I find is online. I found that slide online when I was looking for a slide. I wanted something more that adults could go on. So that's an adult slide. That is not a kid's slide. It's for bigger people. As you can see, it's 10 feet high. It's a big slide. So that was really cool. Hey, Richmond, Rhode Island, how you doing? Richmond's not too far away. I like Richmond. South County, nice area down there. That's for sure. Anyway. But it's still snowing, So what we did was I actually, as the company grew for the real estate, we have 3 property managers. Of course, they manage all the different properties. So we divided up our plowing and shoveling based on the property. So each property manager supervises 1 plow truck and 1 group of shovelers. Now, because there's a ban today, all we're worried about is plowing. So my plow crews are out just plowing my properties. But then tomorrow morning, after the storm is gone, my maintenance crew will come in. They'll go out in the box trucks with the snow blowers and the shovels, and they'll take care of the walkways. In a way, it's good to happen on a weekend for that reason, because the tenants are in the house, they're comfortable in their house, and we can do our work outside. So from a property owner point of view, it worked out fairly well. Hey, St. Louis, how you doing? It's really cool. I love seeing, somebody from Australia had contacted me earlier today, Canada, because I had told everybody about my hot tub, the electric hot tub cover. So I found that on TikTok one day. I was watching TikTok a year and a half ago, and there was a guy showing off his hot tub cover. And I said, that's pretty cool, because I had the flip over one. I actually hadn't even ordered one yet. We had just gotten the hot tub. We just installed it. And I saw that. I said, you know what? Instead of the flip over cover, I'm going to get that. And that's pretty cool. It's a nice cover. It seals up. It's insulated. It seals right tight. Well, anyway, that came from Canada. So it was cool that somebody had commented to this morning from Canada. You know, so somebody yesterday when I did the TikTok about the new waste business that I took over, rollaway waste. We acquired them last week, and so now Butler Waste is now. That's probably going to triple our business because Rollaway's been in business for 40 years, and we just took them over. And my business is not that big, but taking a huge company like that on just grew my waste business threefold. So I did a TikTok about that, and somebody in Australia said, "Oh, I wish you were in Australia." And I told them, "Well, it might be a little expensive to deliver a dumpster in Australia." Anyway, so that was a little bit of a joke, you know. Tips for transitioning from the accounting side of commercial real estate to acquisitions. You know, talk about accounting. I've had an accounting nightmare lately. So I'm going to tell you what happened. You know, I was, a couple of things. One is, somebody said, "Hey, how come you don't live in a mansion? You're a millionaire. You should live in a mansion." Well, first of all, I always see people in mansions, people that acquired wealth a long time ago, earned it when they were young, had it for years and years, or even inherited it. You know, for me, 5 years ago is when I really started growing the real estate business. I had purchased houses and properties years and years and years, but the profit, I was probably starting to see it about 5 years ago. And I put it back into the business. So what happened was, transitioning from the accounting, what happened was, I used to do my own taxes because I was small and tiny and it didn't matter. I'd sit there, use TurboTax and do my own taxes. Up until 2017, when all of a sudden, like I said, I started buying all this real estate, going crazy. There was no way I could do my taxes. And of course, my last year that I did my taxes, I effed them all up and got audited for that year and said, okay, I need to hire a CPA. Got a CPA. He was frustrated with me because everything was such a mess, just because I'm unorganized. You know, we had all the information. We had all the bank records, the bank statements, credit card statements, receipts. We had all that. I was just completely unorganized. Even now, I'm trying to find, so we've had like a part-time bookkeeper in the office, but I need a full-time bookkeeper, especially, or a controller with all my businesses. So I actually am trying to hire somebody right now. So if there's anybody out there looking for a job, I don't know how much a bookkeeper pays, so I have it in there between $60,000 and $70,000 starting based on experience, and full-time in the office to come in and help me with my 4 businesses, get them up to date, get them all, in QuickBooks. So that's my accounting nightmare, and that's my fault. But that being said, when it comes to the real estate, obviously I look at, the income of a property, what it's going to make. I sit down and look at the numbers, how much the expenses are. What am I going to put into it to bring it up to a nice enough, I guess, visually nice livable condition where people really want to live there. How much is my income going to be? What can I make on it based on that? So that's how I figure out how, when I acquire something, what I'm going to make and what I need to do with it. Because I need to spend a lot of money. When I buy a distressed piece of property, I have to put $150,000 into it. I have to consider that when I go and look at all my expenses for the property. Sometimes I forget, hey, when I buy it, it's such a good deal. I think, hey, Jeff, you're going to spend a lot of money fixing that up. So that's the thing I don't realize sometimes. The 39 unit, would the pipe be frozen again? So what we did is, that's a very good question. That's a really good question. So the 39 unit building is not occupied right now. It's empty. So one of the plumbers this week suggested, hey, Jeff, why don't we shut the heat off, drain all the pipes, and so there's no problem. That's one way of looking at it. The problem is that's a short-term fix because I am going to rent it. In fact, our first tenant is moving in on Tuesday. I'm really excited about it. And first tenant's moving in on Tuesday. So we have to have the heat up running just for that tenant. But not only that, every time we have a blizzard and we're afraid the power's going to go off or something, the pipes are going to freeze, we can't shut 39 units down. So no, the answer is we leave the heat on. It's running now. We have it shut off in the units where the pipes are broken, and we're slowly, one at a time, going through those units, fixing the pipes. In fact, if there's any plumbers in Rhode Island, I have an opening for a plumber, actually 2 plumbers right now, not just because of that building, but I have like 5 other buildings that I purchased that we need to get into. So anybody that knows a plumber, plumber's helper, assistant, apprentice, a journeyman, because I have licensed plumbers on staff, but we need more. It's amazing too because we just keep growing. It's not like I'm firing them or anything like that. So if anybody knows a plumber in Rhode Island, I need a plumber. So I'll blow down the Halifax. We can shovel roofs. Okay. All right. That sounds good. You can get down to Halifax if you want to shovel roofs. I don't think I want to do that. That's something I don't want to do. 110's. So the tenant that's moving in there happens to be one that used to live there before and really excited to get back in because we can occupy the first floor right now. So we invited them to come back in. So that's the story with that. We haven't heard from a lot of the tenants. Of course, it's been since August, I think. So we haven't heard a lot. We assume a lot are not coming back. If we don't hear from them by Monday, which is the deadline, we're going to assume they moved on. We're going to clean out the apartments and start renting them. So I'm excited about that. But yeah, the first tenant, I think he's excited to get back in. I'm excited to get people in there, for security reasons. And of course, I have a mortgage due in a few weeks. So the one tenant is not going to pay my mortgage of $30,000, but at least it's a start. One at a time. Let's see what else. Any other questions that anybody have? Let's see. Oh, I'm a CPA and property control. Yeah, absolutely. So here's the story with that. I have, as everybody knows, 4 businesses that I run out of my office. 4 businesses. So I need a controller, somebody to be in that office to really coordinate my business and get everything up to date. A couple of them I use in TurboTax. Some I don't, like my frozen desserts, that I use Square for that. But again, I'm not an accountant. I don't say I'm an accountant. I'm not even a bookkeeper. I did my best until I could, and obviously it was not that great. So I admit my faults. But yeah, I do need a bookkeeper, a controller, as soon as possible. And it's a full-time position. I've actually been looking for 6 months, but of course with pandemic, with COVID, people weren't looking for jobs, and it really set me back. So I need somebody that can come in and get me straightened out, and they'll be king of the mountain, because that's really what I need. So that's the story with that. But yeah, if somebody really is looking for a full-time job, I have that opening, in my office. We actually set up the computer, ready to go with all the companies on it. We already set up the QuickBooks files. I just need to get somebody in there and coordinate with my people to get caught up. There's just so much going on. When I started Butler Waste, the audiovisual business was in hiatus because of the pandemic. Now the audiovisual business is back and going strong. Butler Waste started out very slow. We then took on M&M when they went out of business last March. And then now, last week, we took on Rollaway when they retired. So Butler Waste is growing and growing fast. And I continue to look at 4 other companies to absorb, to have Butler Waste just keep growing. It's not worth it to be in business if it's not going to make a profit. So that's why I want Butler Waste to just keep growing. So of course we have the audiovisual, and I keep buying real estate. I closed on one last week. I'm closing on 20 units on Monday. So what's happening is I keep buying real estate. I had somebody bring 160 units to my attention the other day. I don't know if I want to buy 160 units. That's a lot, but I do want to keep growing. But the only way I can keep growing is by scaling up. So if I buy more property, I need another property manager to supervise those properties. It's all about scale, or you get out of control. At one point, I think last summer, we were a little overwhelmed. We're starting to catch up to ourselves, but part of being overwhelmed was being short-staffed. And so many other businesses are having that exact same problem. I think it's getting better. I mean, we were able just to hire a few people, but still, I need another property manager. I need the accountant controller, or the bookkeeper controller. So I still have openings, It's crazy, but that's because we keep growing. Let's see. What else do we have? So anyway, chicken nuggets. So yeah, I mean, if you're around seriously locally and you want to contact me, that would be great. Let's see. How do we connect? I guess I'll follow you, and if I follow you, then I think we can message each other, right? I think that's how that works. Or I could be wrong, but I think so. Let's see. I'm looking at, oh man, where are you located? So we're in Rhode Island. All right, for some reason I'm not getting all my questions. All right, I don't know what happened there. But anyway, here they are on my phone, so okay. Today I'm working, so my link, as you know, when my link in my bio is not working, this afternoon I'm actually going to work on that when I get off the TikTok, because I want that to work so you folks can contact me or contact my office anyway. That's another thing. Like I'm hiring, one of the people in my office is fantastic. So I think what I'm going to ask, she doesn't know it yet, maybe she'll see it on TikTok. I'm going to ask her if she wants to be my executive assistant, because now I think I need an executive assistant. It's really that far out of control where they can take my calls, my messages, relay messages to me. But anyway, let's see. Going back to chicken nuggets. So listen, as far as you can email me at elmwoodrealty@gmail.com. I do check that email. I'll check it this afternoon. If you want to email me, anybody wants to email me, elmwoodrealty@gmail.com. You can reach out to me, send me a number or email address. I'll email you back. Because I'm trying to follow on here. I don't know if I can do it while I'm live. So let me see, connect. Oh, I think I did it. Oh, let's see. No, see, it's not letting me follow you while we're on for some reason. So, because then obviously if I follow you, then we can message right through TikTok. So I'm still learning TikTok. I'm sorry. I know I'm a rambling idiot. All right. I'm just going through these here. How did I get started in rental properties? Well, I bought one property and just then from there it kind of snowballed. Bought another one. Bought another one. I will tell you, I did get lucky early on. So it is somewhat luck. I didn't start with a lot of money. The first people that sold me the property, that's the one that has my ice cream shop in it, down in Patuxent Village in Cranston, Rhode Island. That's the first property I bought. I was lucky because the people were retiring, so they didn't want to get a chunk of $300,000 all at once and pay capital gains on it. So their accountant advised them to be the bank with me, hold the mortgage for 10 years, and have me pay them for 10 years with interest. So I got lucky. I put $30,000 down, but then they held the mortgage, so I paid them every month, 120 payments, and then I owned the property. So it worked out very, very well. I got lucky. A lot of people, especially people retiring, older people that are selling an investment property, their accountants always suggest them to be the bank, hold the paper. You don't pay the capital gains. You get the money over time. It's good retirement money. So I got lucky, and a few times it's happened. So now I ask every time. I actually ask the question. I think this is working now. Oh, good. Okay, it's working. I want to know about what happened to good work ethic. Yeah, me too. I want to know what happened to good work ethic too. I hope it comes back. I started seeing the work ethic diminish back in 2008, 2009, when we had the banking crisis and people just walked away from their houses, from their properties. I think that's where the work, and the problem is those people had children, so the children saw that, and that's what the children learned. So in my opinion, in 2008, 2009, when people walked away from their responsibilities, they taught their children, who are now 12 years older, now in the workplace, taught them the work ethic. That's my opinion. I could be wrong. If people think I'm wrong, share your opinion with me. But I think that's what happened to the work ethic. Now, during the pandemic, I think that the government trying to help. And again, this was all new to everybody. So I can't say they did anything wrong, but maybe we were a little too generous with the extra unemployment bonuses, too generous with the rent relief. I think that might have been part of the problem. So that was part of the problem there. He has been specialized in small business as a controller. So I realize now that's what I need. I mean, everyone kept saying, Jeff, you're too big, you're too big, you're too big. You need a controller. You can't just have a little bookkeeper, a part-time bookkeeper. I realize that now. I realize I probably should have had a controller a couple of years ago. But what happened was we kind of exploded. And, I had these 4 small businesses. Of course, the ice cream shops, I have 3 of them. They're small, but I'm adding a 4th one now. That's really considered a small business, but it's still 4 ice cream shops during the summer bringing income. My rental properties, up until 3 years ago, I only had 80 units, 60, 70, 80 units. In the last 3 years, since I've hired Andrew as my property manager, my senior property manager, because he's supervising the tenants, it enabled me to go out and buy more properties. Now I'm up to 350 units. And of course, I'm soon to fix up the nursing home, which will be 50. I'll be at 400. So we keep it. So now I realize it's 4 large small businesses that we're managing, and I never realized it. I really didn't realize it. So when people say to me, Jeff, you're a millionaire, you're this, all I know is I keep working. I go to work every day. I'll buy this, I'll buy that. My wife is funny because when I go to the auction, I buy a house. I'll be sitting down having dinner at night. So she'll say, hey, anything new today? And I'll be like, I bought a house. She'll, oh yeah, I bought a new pair of shoes. So she would laugh at me, but it was all my business. In other words, it's just like anybody that sells lamps. They buy a lamp, they sell a lamp. I buy a house, I fix it, sell a house. Same theory. But somebody in the cell phone business, they sell cell phones. Well, I buy houses and fix them up and sell houses. So just a larger scale, that's all. So as you can see, it's still snowing, still windy. So it's 1:37 here now. I guess they said it's going to snow till 8 o'clock tonight. I mean, I don't know how much more snow we're going to get. Let's just take a quick walk around again, just to see, because this room here is 360 degrees. So again, this is the back. That's the back with the snow and the wind. I'll tell you, you can hear the wind all night long, you know. So going over to this side here, this is the side yard, and my neighbor. Now, I will tell you, I think the power went out because I hear the generator going. But we have a generator, so I hear the generator. So I guess the power went out. When our power goes out, I can't tell the generator comes on right away. So of course my iPhone's on batteries, that's why I can walk around. And except the house is on a generator. Solar panels. I do have solar panels, but they don't work on a day like today. So it's either National Grid or a generator. Hey, from Warwick, how you doing? Maritime Professional. Maritime Professional. Well, if you're in Warwick, there's a lot of water around Warwick, so I can see why you'd be a Maritime Professional. So how you doing? Oh, there we go. Stay safe. Well, I'm going to stay in the house, try to stay safe. Like I said, the crews are out plowing and shoveling. I'll go out later and I'll snow blow maybe the driveway if I get the enthusiasm, but I'm not very enthusiastic today. I'm enjoying just kind of hanging out and doing this. I look forward to this. I had so many questions to answer from the week. I wanted to catch up today. So that's the story with that. Let's see. New York, yeah, are you getting snow in New York? I mean, upstate New York, I assume, but this nor'easter is coming from the water, so we're probably getting more. Usually the storms go through New York and comes through, hey, Mrs. Chubby, and comes this way through New York. But yes, the generator's on natural gas. About 5 years ago, I bought 5 generators, one for my house, one for my office, and one for each ice cream shop, and had them all installed. It was the best thing I ever did. Generac generators. I bought the biggest home unit they make, like 22,000 kilowatts. So that works out well. Let's see. Happy New Year, Mike. You be safe. Grab a blanket and go to the couch. I am going to do that after. I am going to grab a blanket and go to the couch. By the way, anybody on here watch Ozark? So last week I watched it. I stayed up all night and binge watched all 7 episodes. Oh, I love that show. Jason Bateman's my favorite actor, but I mean, in general, that show is so good. So now I can't wait to the last 7 episodes. But I don't know if anybody else watches it. You have 18 inches already. Where are you, Mike, with 18 inches? Where the heck are you with 18 inches? So Vegas is saying hello. I love Vegas. Oh, I love Vegas. I can't wait to go back to Vegas. We do a lot of conferences. My audiovisual company does a lot of conferences in Vegas. Not lately, but we do. Hey, Taunton. So the generators, when I bought them, they were like $3,500, but it was like $3,000 each to install them. You had to run the gas pipes, the gas lines, and the electrical and tie it into your. For the automatic generators with the switch, you have to tie them into your electric panel. So I think, I paid $3,500 for each generator, and then it was about $2,500 to have them each installed. But it was like 5 years ago. Once a year, you tune them up. It's an engine, so you tune it up once a year. You buy a tune-up kit, it's like $25. And that's pretty much it. But I got to tell you, they're well worth it. They're well worth it. Very well worth it. Ozark is twisted. I know. I'm telling you, the writers for Ozark have to be twisted. But what a great show. I gauge a show on how much I think about it after I watch it. It's been on my mind like all week. I think about all the scenarios, everything that happened. I said to myself, that show affected me emotionally. I mean, it really did. And I think about it all the time. It's almost like I get obsessed. That's why I'm so impressed with it. The actors, the actresses, the writers, the directors. And I can't believe how good that show is. They're gonna win all kinds of awards again this year. It. My son works audiovisual here in Las Vegas, so yeah, Las Vegas obviously is the audiovisual capital of the world as far as conferences go. When there's conferences going on, and we do a lot of audiovisual for conferences in Las Vegas. What happens is the hotels usually have an AV company. national AV company that they partner with. They split the profit with and give commission. We actually service a lot of companies that travel around, or conferences travel around the country, and we know their production. We know specifics about what they want. In fact, that's why Ian's in Palm Springs, California. If you saw last night, I talked to Ian live. Maybe I'll try to contact him. He can be our guest, like I talked about last night. He so we travel to the different hotels, and we will provide audiovisual services for our clients. All right, let's see what other we got. The cartel made its move in Ozark. Yes, it did. It did. Even though they wanted to be out, they're not out. We know that. They wanted to be out of the cartel. They wanted to be free and clear. And yeah, that's true. But I don't want to ruin it in case people didn't see it. But yes, what a great program, great show. Even the first 3 years. I mean, I like to go back and watch periodic episodes here and there. Anyway. Hey, don't get caught up with the cartel. That's the last thing you want to do, is get caught up with the cartel. Where's my ice cream shop? So my ice cream shops, I have 3 of them right now. 3, I'm going to have 4. One's in Cranston, Rhode Island, down in Patuxent Village, in the Cove on the water. One's in Warwick, Rhode Island, on West Shore Road. The other one's in East Greenwich, Rhode Island, on Route 2. And I'm opening up another one in Warwick, in a building I own, a couple buildings up from my office. I actually built the ice cream shop in 2002, sold it in 2010. The people that bought it just moved to Attleboro, which is a good 25 minutes away, so they did not renew their lease. So the shop is empty right now, so I'm going to reopen the shop. What I'm doing, though, is an experiment. I like experiments. I take risks. I think this is a pretty good risk. We're going to open up a Hershey's ice cream franchise. So it's going to be just Hershey's ice cream. It's going to have the Hershey's name. It's not going to have my Dear Hearts name. I have my other 3. And I'm going to open up the Hershey's franchise and try it. I sell about 12 or 14 flavors of Hershey's ice cream now in my other stores, but this store will be just Hershey's ice cream and Hershey's soft serve. Hershey's has a different soft serve than I sell in the other stores. It's excellent. So yeah, so it's going to be neat. We're opening that this summer. Well, actually in April. Yeah, these in the jackpot zone. So let's see, what else we got? Let's see. You know, I wanted to talk about the washer and dryer saga that's been going on. So if everyone's been following me on that. So I install my own washers and dryers in my property. And I do it based on supply and demand. I have one property, it's 4 units. I have a washer and dryer in there. We empty it at the beginning of the month. It's always zero. Always zero. Now I know why. The washer and dryer's in the basement. It's very inconvenient to get to. And the people who live up on the 1st, 2nd, and 3rd floor, it's probably easier for them to take their laundry to the laundromat. There's a laundromat across the street. That being said, someday I will move the washer and dryer upstairs. I have to find a place on the 1st floor. My washers and dryers do the best when they're located right outside the apartments or convenient for the tenants to get to. I have my building down in Cranston where the ice cream shop is. The washer and dryer is right on the 2nd floor. I have 5 apartments on the 2nd floor. That washer and dryer, that's full every month. Why? It's right outside the door. You literally walk 10 feet. You do it's like having it in the apartment. So it's all about convenience. So what I do is every building I buy, I look for a location that's more convenient. Yeah, it's easy. Put it in the basement. Put it in the basement. A lot of landlords put it in the basement. I don't want to go in the basement and do my laundry here. Even here at our house, our laundry's on the 1st floor. We have a laundry chute from the 2nd floor that put all the laundry in, goes down into the laundry room, and that's where our laundry room is on the 1st floor. Convenient, very convenient. So that's what I do for all my properties. I try to make it convenient. The 39 unit, they're down in the basement. Those people have to walk a mile to do their laundry. So I'm moving it to if you've seen my videos, the front of the building, there's that big glass room. Well, that glass room is wasted. So I'm closing it in. Of course, it's ugly anyway. It's 1960. We're closing it. We're going to make it look more a little colonial, like a house. And that's going to be the laundry room and mail room for those tenants. So it's going to be convenient for them. And also it's going to be a lot nicer. It is snowing outside, make money. I saw your video this morning. I see a video with the songs. They're funny. It is snowing outside, make money. It's snowing bad. Anyway, hey, Mary Robbins, how you doing? Thanks. I try to be a good landlord, a good property owner. People who follow me and have seen the history of my TikToks probably realize that. People that just come on and see 1 or 2 here and there don't realize that because you folks see the comments. But we try. Are we perfect? No, we do try. We try. The intent is to do a good job. The intent is to give our tenants, customers, good customer service. I'll give you an example this morning. This morning's a perfect example. So one of our buildings, we have 5 units in it, as oil. I hate oil. I convert to gas whenever I can because you're relying on somebody else to bring you your oil. And if they screw up, then guess what? You have 5 tenths without heat. And that's what happened. This morning, the oil ran out because the oil delivery people messed up. So Andrew, my senior property manager, he didn't have to do this, but he went out. We actually have oil stored in tanks. He went and got some, brought them, got the oil burner back up and running till this oil company can deliver oil. I hate oil. I only have 2 properties that take oil. That is one. I switched them to gas as soon as possible, and that's going to be the next one now on the list because, again, I feel bad for the tenants. Now, we had an option. Andrew could have brought them the portable electric heaters that we have to get them through till Monday, but he wanted to get the system back up and running, so I give him a lot of credit for that in the middle of a blizzard. So, that happens, but we try. We try to be good landlords. It's hard, Good afternoon, Jethro. Scott, how you doing? Hate gas too. Yeah, the gas is the worst. I mean, I almost prefer propane over oil. But the same thing. If your propane runs out, you're screwed, So that's the story with that. So he went out and he brought them oil and got the oil up and running. But the gas, the gas is good. The other thing is the other reason why I don't like it. Okay, so let's talk about that house. There's 5 units in the house and 1 oil burner. So when the 1 oil burner went out, all 5 lost their heat. They have hot water because we have separate hot water tanks, but they lost their heat. What I typically do, anytime I buy a property that has 5 or 6 or multiple units on one system, I divide them up and give them all their own systems. That's good for a few reasons. One, from my point of view, it's good because A, they're paying their own heat, so obviously it cuts my expenses down. But also, if one system goes down, the building will not cool down because the other 4 or 5 systems are running. So now you don't have to worry about freezing pipes and that type of thing. So that's why, another reason why I like dividing them up, because of the fact that A, you're not going to have freezing pipes. It cuts down on that. So typically in that particular house, this summer, I will probably divide them up to 4 units. Let's see what else we got. So here's the thing about electric. You asked your landlord to switch everything to electric. So here's the story with the electric. The old-fashioned electric heat, the baseboard heat, very expensive. The old-fashioned electric blowers that were in the wall and the electric, extremely expensive to run. Now they have very high-efficient electric systems called their electric heat pumps. So I actually installed those in some of my properties. I got some of my rental property down in Narragansett. The way the heat pump works is you have a condenser outside like an air conditioning system. So in the winter, the heat pump runs, it's actually taking the cold air out of the house and replacing it with hot air. In the winter, it works the opposite. It's taking the hot air out of the house and replacing it with cold air, but it uses the condenser outside. So electric heat pumps are very efficient, and it's electric, obviously. You're not working off of gas or oil. So I do like electric heat pumps. I do install those in a lot of my new remodeled apartments and remodeled properties because the benefit is, A, it's electric, so they're only getting 1 bill a month, but B, they have central air in the summer, so you have to worry about air conditioning. So that's why I like the electric heat pumps. That's the most efficient electric heat there is. Yes, I am taking Section 8 on the 39 units. Yep, we do take Section 8. I take Section 8 at all my properties because I have nothing to hide. I don't have to worry about it. My properties are in good shape. We maintain them. So we accept Section 8 at all our properties. As long as you pass our background checks, we take Section 8. So, it's still windy outside, but it doesn't look like it's snowing hard at all right now. It's just wind. It's just wind blowing around. Just figure I'd give you the weather update in case you care. Did not close on that Johnston property yet. Still waiting to hear from those lawyers. That is the longest. Now we're going on 2 years. This started in November 2019. Now we're going into February. So we're talking, 2 years, 27 months. Have not closed on it yet, but I will let you know when I do. do, believe me, that's going to be a big major TikTok thing. You know, 2 years, 27 months, have not closed on it yet, but I will let you know when I do. Believe me, that's going to be a big major TikTok thing. You know, 2 years, 27 months, have not closed on it yet, but I will let you know when I do. I have never asked for a follow or a like. I think you folks know that, the people that follow me. I've never, ever asked for a follow or a like. And of course, I'm about to reach 200,000 followers, which is really exciting because I've never asked for one. But I talk about that Johnston property. When I close on that, I guarantee you my followers are going to go up and my likes are going to go up. And that's all I'm going to say about that, because I'm going to really enjoy that one. You know what I'm saying? So good question. So we try to use the highest SEER possible, obviously. 18, 20, 16 is marginal, but we try to use the highest. Of course, the higher the SEER, the more expensive the unit is. But the thing is, it's long term. It's long term. We have to use the low ambient filters, the low ambient kits. So on the heat pumps and on, I'll show you. On the heat pumps and on the mini split systems, there's a mini split system right there. So on the heat pumps and the mini split systems, you have to use, in the cold weather like today, you have to have a low ambient kit because they will not run in cold temperatures. So you have a low ambient kit on it, and that way it will keep it warmed up, it'll keep the system warmed up, and the system will operate in low temperatures. So that's very important too. And by the way, how do I know that? Everyone's gonna say, Jeff, I know it all. No. What happens is every time we install a system, I hire a plumber, or I hire an air conditioning guy or HVAC, I watch everything they do and I learn from them. That's how I know it. How do I know SEER? How do we know that? So that's what it is. I know SEER is the efficiency rating. That's all I know, and the higher the SEER, the better it is. But I don't want people to think, oh, Jeff's a know-it-all. I'm not, and that's probably as much as I know about it. You folks that are plumbers and HVAC professionals know a heck of a lot more than I do. I was just telling one of my plumbers that this morning, that, I know enough, I won't say enough to be dangerous, but I know enough that when I'm talking to a plumber, an electrician, I understand what they're explaining to me, and I also know when I'm getting bullshitted too, because through the years I've learned so much, and that's why I watch them. I know if a system's not working, if it's going to be a thermocouple or a gas valve. How am I going to know that? Because I watched through the years. Hey, Jeff, the system's not working. Okay, I'll meet you over there, Dwayne. I'll see. Thermocouple, zone valve, circulator pump, all those items. I've only learned that just from watching them. I went to school for special ed. So I'm saying this is all life experience, and so here I am, 57. I learn every day. I learn something every day, So that's the story with that. Let's see. Hey, Torvy, morning. How you doing? Let's see. Here we go. Are you in a mortgage, one unit for a down payment, or another that's already turnkey unit? On another that's already turnkey. Are you one to mortgage one unit for a down payment to another unit that's already turnkey unit? So I assume you're thinking, do I use collateral from one of my other properties to buy a property? So the answer would be yes. I mean, I just did that on that 39 unit. I used some other properties I own, borrowed against them for my down payment to buy the 39 unit. So now I literally have one big giant mortgage on 7 pieces of property, the 39 unit, and 6 other properties that I used to buy the other one. So, in a couple of weeks I'm gonna have a big giant mortgage payment, but it's for 7 properties. So as I grow, I am doing more of that. I'll use some of the properties I have. So when I buy property, I typically try not to borrow that much money. I want equity. I have a lot of equity, and I typically do not borrow to take cash out of a property. I may refinance a property just to get a better payment, better interest payment, but I don't take cash out. Unless, in this case, where I was buying the 39 unit, I used those properties as my collateral to buy the 39 unit. So I hope I answered the question. Your BFF is from Barrington. Oh, well, all right, that's great. I love Barrington. Barrington's beautiful. Andrew married a girl from Barrington. It's a great area, Barrington. St. Andrews is in Barrington, which is a very, very prestigious private prep school. We do their graduation every year, my audiovisual company. So Barrington, Rhode Island, I'm sure people have heard of it. Let's see. The 39 unit apartments, so the second floor is not ready to rent. We're working on rebuilding the deck. The first floor is. Our first tenant is moving in on the 1st, this Tuesday, which we're really excited about. So it's going to be ready. It's ready to rent now on the first floor. The second floor not only do we have not access to it because of the deck, but the pipes that burst were on the second floor. So 12 of the apartments, we're actually repairing the pipes right now. But we can't use those apartments anyway, so it is what it is, just more work because now we have to repair all the broken pipes. So that's the story with that. Andrew's my nephew, actually. Andrew's my nephew. And his brother Brian works for me. He runs Butler Waste. He is also my nephew. And boy, they fight like cats and dogs. We've had stories about them because, as you know, Brian runs Butler Waste. Andrew runs Elmwood Realty. Butler Waste provides trash services for Elmwood Realty. So once in a while, we have a mishap, and we might miss picking up the garbage, and Elmwood Realty gets very upset as the customer, so they'll let Butler Waste know it. And it really is interesting because these two, Elmwood Realty is a customer with 50 buildings. Butler Waste is the vendor providing service. So there's a lot of back and forth. It works for me. It's a great teaching experience for us in the office because it shows us how to deal with our other customers of Butler Waste and some of the things that happen, some of the concerns, the complaints. Some of the frustrations that Butler Waste have, legitimate frustrations, is I believe as a property owner, my tenants, we give them each toters, wheels on them. I tell them, fill up the toter once a week. We have a garbage day, just like a normal single family home, wheel it out to the street, and Butler Waste happens to be our trash company, will pick it up. We have some lazy tenants that won't wheel it out. So Butler Waste gets frustrated. They get there, it's supposed to be 12 out, there's only 6. They know 6 didn't get put out. So what I started doing now is, if my drivers or Butler Waste, my company has to go in the back and wheel them out themselves, we charge the tenants. If they're that lazy and can't wheel their trash out, just like I do, you do, if you own your own house, my tenants can, okay? We don't run a concierge service. We're a rental property company. So that's what we do there. So I charge the tenants. I charge them for picking up the trash in the backyard. It's $25 each time. So that's why there's some frustration between the two companies. I want Butler Waste to be a good full-service company. So that is full service, going in the back and getting the trash cans. That's great service. But Butler Waste should get paid for that. Meanwhile, Elmwood Realty should not have to pay for it, charge the tenants, because if the tenants are that lazy they can't wheel their barrel out, we got a problem. So that's one of the things between the two companies that's very interesting. Anyway, why do I listen to what guy? I don't know. What guy? I don't know. Oh, this guy talks shit in all his renters. Oh, do I? Okay. So anyway, that's interesting. That's interesting. I didn't know that. I don't know if he follows me or if he just is just a Saturday troll. Probably, right? So this person here is probably somebody who hasn't paid their rent, who's a bad tenant, who doesn't communicate with his landlord, who's probably been evicted a number of times. That's the only thing I can think of this person. Somebody who's unhappy, of course, is lonely, today looking to talk to somebody. Of course, I'm not a psychologist, but I'm thinking that that's the problem that this particular person has. I'm looking for him because as far as I was to block him, I don't need him, I got to tell you something. It's interesting because I have not blocked that many people on TikTok. Yeah, I'm in Rhode Island. Yep, doing a good job. Just maintain it. Thank you. Thank you. You think the snow is done? Somebody said the snow is done. It might be. Hello from Warwick. Well, I'm right in Cranston, so that's cool. Anyway, let's see. I hope the snow is done. Oh, let's talk about the snow. Okay, great. So thank you very much for making money. Yeah, he's a jerk. So he just came on just to make a comment. So let's talk about the snow from a property owner point of view. So we have to maintain the walkways and the driveways for our apartments. So think about it. Whether we have an inch, 2 inches, or 2 feet, I have to have my maintenance guys go out there and plow and salt and shovel anyway. So that's why for me, if you're gonna have 2 inches, you might as well have 2 feet. It's gonna cost us either way anyway. Obviously, if I had to hire an outside company to do it, it'd be extremely costly. Having 60 buildings to go plow, and houses to go plow and shovel, it's still costly. I have to buy the trucks, maintain the trucks. I pay my staff for all working today. I give them all credit for going out and working today. Like I told you, the plow trucks are out today driving around, and then as soon as the storm stops, I'll have my maintenance crew out shoveling the snow, blowing, and cleaning up the yards and properties. So that's how we handle it. I don't know how other property management companies handle it. They may hire third-party companies. That way they can wash their hands of it. But for me, we do it in-house, and it works for now. I mean, there might be a time where it's just out of control and it's not worth it, kind of like my bookkeeping, and I have to bring somebody in, So that's the story with that. It's a family channel. Let's see what else. But yeah, so we maintain, like I said, we maintain all the properties ourselves, the maintenance guys, the plow trucks. It's funny, I got a free plow truck with one of the properties I bought. It needed some work. We got the plow going. The problem is the truck doesn't run. It did run, but it needs a new gas tank. So we're in the process of upgrading it. I think by the end of next week it will be ready, or by the end of winter the plow truck will be ready to plow. But hey, it was free, right? So we're working on it in between everything else. Still snowing in North Attleboro. All right, well, it's weird because the wind is blowing. You see snow. I see the snow all around. You folks probably see it behind me. See it? But I don't know if that's coming off the roof or the wind's blowing it or if it's still snowing. I don't know. The weather people don't know. They're a joke too. They don't know. Let's see. Hi, Heather. How you doing? So Heather's on there. Let's see. What do I like? Single home apartments, less issues? Well, that's a really good point. I always talk about buying multifamilies and maintaining multifamilies, but you're right. My single family homes, which I have 5 or 6 right now that I rent out, they take care of everything. The plowing, the shoveling, the cutting the grass, the maintenance. The tenants take care of it, and you're right. I don't hear much from them. Very good point. But of course, it's all relative because obviously a single family home, you're not making a lot of money on it. You have a mortgage. But that's a very excellent point because, I never thought of it that way. I really, they don't call us for anything unless the heat breaks. Hardly ever do we get called to one of our single family rentals. So that's an excellent point. But again, you don't make that much money on a single family except for, like down in Narragansett, my beachfront house, obviously on rentals, that makes money. Because of where it is, the location, and of course the college students in the summer rentals. So that's a different story. But on a regular single-family home in a neighborhood, typically I buy them, fix them, and flip them. But while I'm, and that's it with that. So make money. Do you think it's going to be 16 to 26 inches when it's all done? What do you think? I saw your videos this morning. You were getting a lot of snow like me. You must be near me. You look like you get a lot of snow. You must be pretty close to me. So here's the funny thing about snow, right? Being a property owner and I got to pay to have it all plowed and moved, I'd rather not have it. That being said, I love skiing. So I'll go to the snow, okay? I will go up north to the snow, New Hampshire, Maine, Vermont, beautiful places. Let me go to the snow. Don't bring the snow to me. But I just said to my kids today, tomorrow is going to be great sledding weather, and we have some really cool hills right around the corner from our house. So I told them, I said, we're going to go sledding tomorrow. I love sledding. So that's what we're going to do tomorrow. So just so you know. So even though I don't like the snow because of a business point of view, pleasure, oh, absolutely. I'm spoiled, So do I get heat? Do I get calls for the heat going out? Knock on, wood. Today, the only calls we got was that one building that has the 5 units where the oil ran out because the oil company screwed up, and we corrected that problem this morning. So far during this storm, out of 330 tenants, those are the only calls we got. Yesterday, my staff went around, made sure all the windows were closed, doors were closed, vents were closed. Heat was running, so we did the best we could do to prepare for this storm. But so far, it's just that one building. And what we do at the office is I tell everybody, we have portable electric heaters that we always have and ready to go. As if there's an emergency, that's the first thing we do. Hey, here's a heater, get warm, let's work on fixing the heat. But so far this winter, this is the only calls that we got were today. It was that one building. It's already corrected. Oh yes, I figured you were in Cranston because like I said, it looks familiar. You live in apartments in Cranston, I think, on the second floor. It's all I gathered. It's all I gather from your video. And it looks like a very nice neighborhood. That's all I gathered. Let's see. How much snow do we have? I don't know. Like, look, let me show you. That table. Can you see that table? That looks like it has like 6 inches on it. But I mean, outside I got some snow drifts. The snow drift in the window. Well, let me go here. Let's see. Watch this. Watch this. See? It's going up my window there in the back. This is a table and chairs. So I mean, it's drifting. But what's amazing, over here, look, you still see some of my deck over there near the hot tub. So it's funny, how the snow drifts, So that's a pool house right there. In fact, the 2 double doors, that's actually a heated room that I could use as a guest room if I ever wanted to. In the summer, I actually use it as my mobile. Put up those doors and worked in that room, and that was comfortable. I was able to stay home and work. But anyway, so I don't know, the snow's still drifting. My dogs are tiny, and I know when they go out, the snow is higher than them. So that's kind of funny. So 12 inches so far in Cranston. Yeah, I would say that's about right. 12 inches. That's about right. Oh, good. Make money as a moderator again. That's perfect. Yeah, so the pool house started as a pandemic project. What happened was we had our in-ground pool put in, and they put the pool filter, and it was kind of out in the open, and I didn't like it. So I started building a little, just a decorative front, in front of it. I'll actually show you. So if you come over here, that one window on the end right there, in there is my pool filter and heater and electric panels, okay? We only built this wall to make it look decorative. And then I said, you know what? Let's add on to it. So the second door is a bathroom. That's a bathroom. And the double doors, that's the room that I built. It's a heated room, but it has a TV, flat screen TV in it. So in the summer you can open the doors. And then the other window down the other end, that is actually a shed. There's doors on the other end. That's where we keep all our outdoor lawn stuff and yard stuff and rakes, shovels, all that stuff. Then I will show you something really cool. Now this is really cool, okay? I did not build this. When we bought the house, that tree house, can you see if you can see the tree house? That tree house, that was here. The previous owners built that. Now the only way you could get into that tree house is you had to climb a ladder from underneath. It was actually 10 feet high. It was very high. If you notice, it's not 10 feet high anymore. It's only about 6 feet high. What happened was, when we bought the property, my kids were little. They were too little to go in that, so we didn't want them going in it. So we actually let it get overgrown with trees and shrubs and bushes and let the whole backyard stay overgrown. When they got older, we cleaned it out and we fixed it up. And we took the ladder down that you climbed up. We actually put stairs in so the kids could climb upstairs to that treehouse. And they use it. It's beautiful inside. We added the electricity, so it has lighting inside. And that also has a zip line. So you really can't tell because of the snow, but there's a zip line. You can see the deck. There's a zip line that goes from there all the way down right behind the trampoline. And it's a 100-foot zip line. It's a 100-foot zip line, and that's fun. I love it. I've gone on it myself. And actually, you know what? My mother at 84 went on the zip line. Because if anyone's seen my mother, she's very active. She's 89 now, but when she was 84, she went on that zip line. So anyway, so that's the story with that. So the kids loved the treehouse. They grew into the treehouse, and that's what happened. So that's the story with that. So where were we now? Hey. Yeah, Pat's fan. Yeah, Pat's fan. That's great. Pat's fan likes me. Pat's fan's always on here. That's cool. He's cool. Butler Carpone. Yeah, okay. So that is a funny thing too. Pure coincidence. I owned a nightclub, own a trash company. Okay, coin op washers and dryers. Pure coincidence, I assure you. Okay, but yeah, it's interesting. When I opened up the club, especially at the very beginning, when we opened up the club, people did think. My relatives seriously did believe that we were getting involved with the mob, connected people, that type of thing. And but we weren't. I mean, it was just really, we opened up a club, and and nobody ever bothered us. In fact, if anything, I would say we had a lot of friendlies come into the club. We actually had a lot of people help us in the club, and it worked out very well. So, but it was funny because we had the club for 17 years, and yeah, during that time, people thought we were connected. When I started the trash company, people said, "Oh yeah, you weren't connected with the club. Now you're into trash. Come on, Jeff." But nope, it's all pure coincidence. I think look, I don't know anything about the mafia, the mob, but to me, I think they're all probably legit now. I don't think there is such a thing. I think they're all went into legit businesses. It's kind of like the cartel on Ozark trying to become legit. But anyway, I used to own Club Hell in downtown Providence. It was a nightclub called Hell. We owned it for 17 years. It was a great club. If anybody remembers the club, our club was unique. It was a college club, but it was a unique club. My two partner managers, Joe and John, were the best promoters and club managers in the world. I still stand by that. Joe actually still works with me with my audiovisual business to this day. He's a great guy. We're the same age. Met them when I was 20, Joe and John, and they managed that club. And here's why they were unique. John is a live music guy, loves live music, bands, great live music guy. He's a promoter. He's still a promoter now. He promotes bands locally in Providence, national and regional bands, and that's what he does. And Joe stayed on with me, and Joe he's a promoter as well. In fact, Joe was really the promoter guy, where John was the live promoter guy. So they were started out, their company was Lounge Lizards when they went in college. And if anybody went to Rhode Island College years ago, they were Lounge Lizards, and they used to promote dance nights at various clubs around. The Living Room, Lupo's Heartbreak Hotel, Club Confetti. So if anybody remembers those names and you went dancing there, chances are you were promoted to by Lounge Lizards, who was John and Joe. So they used to rent lighting and sound from me, and we built a relationship, got really friendly, and we talked about owning our own club. So Rich Lupo, who I did business with, he and I put up the money. John and Joe would be the managing partners, and we started Club Hell. The funny part is this. So when we bought, I'll tell you a story. So I told this on TikTok, so I'm not trying to be redundant, but I'm live now, and so anybody who didn't see the TikTok, I'll tell you the story very quick. So there was a club called Club Babyhead in the 80s, very popular in Rhode Island. Very popular club Babyhead. Well, Babyhead, went through its time, went through its cycle, and it was over. So then the owner sold the club to another person, and they made it into a gay club. And he renovated it, and he called it the Velvet Glove. So you went into this club. It was beautiful. They did a nice job. Velvet curtains everywhere, red lighting everywhere, candles everywhere. It was beautiful. So it was red. So we went in there to look at it because it was for sale. So John, Joe, and I went in there and we're looking at it and we're saying, what do you think? So originally our concept, or Joe's concept, because the club idea was all Joe. So Joe's concept was, let's get a club. We're going to make it really dark inside, make it really subdued. People can come in private. We'll have a nice dance floor in the corner. So we were going to call the club name Dark, D-A-R-Q-U-E. At that point, everybody called their names one syllable words. Dark. There was a company Ultra, a club Ultra. They were all like cool names, So we were going to call it Dark. But then what happened was I said to Joe, we were sitting there, and we're like, Joe, it's all red. Why don't we call it Hell? So Rich Lupo, our partner, was there, who was friendly with the mayor at the time, Buddy Cianci. Rich said, Cianci's not going to want Club Hell in Providence. It sounds bad, blah, blah, blah. You know what? Let's ask him. So he said, I'll introduce you. So Rich did. He took me to a fundraiser for Mayor Cianci at the time at the Biltmore. We went. I went in with him, and he introduced me to him. I said, Mayor, how are you? We're opening up a club, and with all due respect, I want to ask you if we could use the name Club Hell. Because I know it'll be controversial, but I want to ask the mayor, because obviously we're not going to open up something and have the mayor say he's doesn't approve of it. So the mayor said to me, it's very nice to meet you, and as long as I have a seat at that club, yes, you can call it Hell. And that was the conversation we had, and that's where the name Hell came from. And we didn't have to do much decorating because it was all red. We did go out and buy a bunch of gargoyles. Joe and John went out shopping to these cool stores, these antique stores, all these stores that made, designed gargoyles and and heads and stuff like that. And that's what we did. We bought all decorations. They went to New York and bought decorations, decorated the club, called it Club Hell. It was Club Hell for 17 years, and it was successful. Now, talk about the format. So it was a college club, right? Well, we wanted to be open. We're renting the place 7 days a week, so we wanted to be open 7 days a week. But you can't have 7 days a week of the same type of thing: dance night, college night. So what we did was Thursday night was college night. Wednesday night we had a night called, it was fetish night. Yep, whips, chains, half naked girls walking around. Wednesday ended up being one of our most popular nights that lasted the whole 17 years. People loved coming to Wednesday night. Thursday was college night. Tuesday, international night. We marketed to international students who used to come, Asian students, African students, anybody from outside of the United States. It was international night. It was a really cool night. That was Tuesday nights. Now, through the years, we changed. The nights varied. When Sunday night was a Gothic night. So, Gothics would come in. They play Gothic music. So what we would do is this. We would have live music early in the evening, 7 o'clock to 9, 7 to 10. But then from 10 o'clock on, we would have a DJ. So it was basically two clubs in one every single night. That's one of the ways we lasted for 17 years. And that was all John and Joe. That was all of them. They did a great job managing that club. So that's the story of the club. Now, now we're doing well, right? The club business is mostly cash. Well, what happens? We get audited by the State of Rhode Island Division of Taxation. They come in, they audit us. And when they audit us, they do this thing called mock. They mock up your pricing where they think you're spending a certain amount that you're not, or selling a certain amount that you're not. So they come up with this crazy idea that we owed $1 million in taxes, that we sold, $10 million worth of stuff, and we owed $1 million in taxes. So anyway, we had to hire. Well, we got audited, so we had our CPA. We also had to hire, or we thought we had to hire, a tax attorney. So we went out and spent all this money on a specialized tax attorney that will fight the state of Rhode Island for us. Well, that was a waste of money. They did nothing for us. So what happened was my attorney, still my attorney today, and we're talking the year 2000, 22 years ago, said, Jeff, let me talk to the state. Let's see what we can do. You got your numbers. Let's go meet with them. And we did. Joe was very much involved with my partner. He and I met with Steve, went to the Division of Taxation. That's it. The problem went away. They looked at the numbers. Our attorneys sat there and said, look, because my attorney is a man of reason. He's a professional. He's ethical. He's moral. I can't say enough positive things about him. And he sat there and he was within reason, showed them every reason why they were wrong. We walked away from that meeting owing nothing. And that was really good. Now, that being said, we did owe some back taxes anyway, just because that's in theory, in the normal operating procedure of a club, you pay a lot of taxes because it's a cash business. So we owed some back taxes, like $30,000. The reason I'm telling you that story is this. The Hollywood came knocking, and they wanted to rent our club because they were making a movie in Providence. So they wanted to rent our club for a movie, which you might have heard of, 27 Dresses, was filmed here in Rhode Island. They needed a club for some bar scenes, some club scenes, but they also needed some outside room, because they wanted to build an outside, what do you call it, where people sit outside in a patio with all trellises and flowers and stuff, garden area. They wanted the garden area. So they rented the club from us for 2 weeks. I think it was like $50,000, paid off our back taxes. We all made a little bit of money. It was the most money the club ever made in 17 years, was renting it to a movie studio. But anyway, they used the club for the bar scenes. They used the club for the nightclub scenes. But the best part was the alley. They moved all of our trash cans. Okay, now this alley, there were homeless people lived there, peed and pooped there at night. We had trash cans there, we had dumpsters there. I mean, this alley was disgusting. Well, the movie studio cleaned it up, moved everything out, put in all these decorative trellises and these trees and the flowers. And in the movie, you will see it. There's a wedding scene that takes place in our alley. And that's great. That's funny. But anyway, so we paid off our back taxes, and that was that story. So I hope you guys enjoyed that. Anyway, what was the question here? Let's see. Haven't heard. So the guy that owes the $12,000, the government's chasing him. The government, they're slow. They're chasing him. The state's giving us the $12,000 rent relief. But you know what, though? I'm not satisfied with that. The state's giving me the money I was owed, but what about this guy getting away with it? So he has been served. The state served him. I mean, there's two people chasing him from the state. There's the state court for the court order of the 12,000. So they're going after him for that. There's a court order. Actually, I think there's a bench warrant out for him right now. If he gets pulled over, you know how they do that. You get pulled over. There's a warrant out for you. So he has that. He and his wife. By the way, I always say him, but it's him and his wife on that one because her name was on the check. For me, I actually have the judgment for the 10,000 against both of them. That's because of the non-payment of rent, and then rent relief is going after them for stealing the money. So they are at some point going to be in a world of hurt. But right now, yeah, they think they're getting away with it. They'll get caught though, and I'll keep you up to date on that. What did you get out of the club business? Or what? No, what made me get out of the club business? Great question. So we leased the space. Our lease was $6,000 a month, and it was what we had a 3-year lease with 3 5-year options. So that's exactly what we did. We did our 3-year lease, and we had the option to renew with 3 5 5 5. It was up for renewal the last year, and of course, it went up every year. So I think at the end of it was up to like $7,000. The club scene, though, in Providence at that time, 2012, 2013, I think is when we closed. Let me see when we closed. 2015. So the club scene started going downhill. And we would talk about it. Our business was going down. We didn't want to go into a money-losing situation. We were almost getting to a break-even situation. The club scene was going down for a lot of reasons. One is that the internet happened and got big. So why do you go to a club? To meet people. Well, we found more and more people would meet people online, social media, and staying home, or staying in their dorm rooms, or going to private parties at fraternities and stuff like that. So for us, because being a college club, we found that it wasn't in our best interest to continue and re-sign a lease at another $6,000 a month. So we decided at that time, you know what? We made our money. We did very well. It's great history for us, and we all moved on. So we left. Rich Lupo still owns clubs in Providence. He always did. He owned Lupo's Heartbreak Hotel before, when I was in college, he opened that. But he owns a very popular club called the Met Cafe. I'm sure everybody's heard of the Met Cafe. The Met Cafe used to be in downtown Providence. Now it's in Pawtucket, on the Pawtucket-Providence line, but he owns the Met Cafe. That's still going strong. John went on to promote bands at various clubs around the city. He still does that, local and regional bands. And Joe and I decided, you know what? Oh, so Joe and I did open up another club. So we opened up a club, small club in Providence. We had it for 2 years, and it was a nice club. It's called Dive Bar, and Joe managed it. The problem was that the people that owned the building were selling the building. The people that bought the building didn't want a club in there. They wanted to renovate it and put apartments in there, so the club would be noisy. So they bought out our lease. They gave us, okay, guys, how much do you want to sell us back the club and get out? So that's what we did. Joe and I sold the lease to the owner, and we left and moved on. Joe came with me, and he helps run my audiovisual business, still does that today. Great guy, he was a great partner, we have a great relationship. And that's what happened. So that's where everybody went. We're all still friends, and that's why we got out of the club business. All right, let's see. Pat's fan met his first girl where? Where'd you meet your first girl? Club Hell or Dive Bar? Oh, the Velvet Glove. The Velvet Glove. That's funny. Well, the Velvet Glove, all right, the glove. Let's talk about the Velvet Glove. So when we bought the Velvet Glove, somewhere I have pictures, I'll have to find the pictures, but this goes back to 1997. In the Velvet Glove, it was a gay bar. So they had some decorations in there that were unique to that particular genre. Not that there's anything wrong with that. So some of the decorations they had were these big poles in the middle of the room, and they were shaped like, they were long and shaped like what you would imagine would be shaped like. It didn't work in Club Hell, so we took these things down and we put them in the basement. They were about 6 feet long. They had lights in them and they lit up. Okay, so they were large. Okay, so you know what I mean. Use Viagra with them. I want to try to be. This is clean. So we took them down and put them in the basement. So now, if anybody knows, Providence is built over the river, so the water table is high in Providence. So we had floods one day in our club. So we go downstairs in the basement because we had to fix something in the basement. The basement had flooded, and here's these 4 things floating around in the water in the basement. It was the funniest thing. I guess we should have thrown them away, but we didn't know what to do with them because they would be, I bet you they were expensive when they had those things made, and you never know if you're going to use them for something. You know what I'm saying? So, that's what happened there. But yeah, so anyway, that was just a little story about the club scene anyway. Those are my club scene stories. I don't want to bore people. I hate boring people. I probably do bore people already, but I thought that was funny. How did you handle conflicts between patrons of the club, drunks, fights? So that's a great question. So we had some really good security people, really good. We call them bouncers, but they were security people. We had really, really good ones. One of the things that we did, and this is early on, 1997, we would hire people of color as security, and of course our Caucasian people. We represented different races in security. That's important. It's important because you want to respect the other people coming into the club. And so that was one of the things that we did right away, and that eased a lot of tensions. The biggest problem we had is at the door. So we used to have, if we needed it, we'd have a detail there, a police detail, but we hardly ever did that. We just had very good security at the door. If a limo pulled up with people getting married there, and they're having their bachelor party, so they pull up and 10 bachelors get out of the limo and they're drunk, we probably would not let them in because we don't have enough security to handle them when they get drunk and fight, and they do get drunk and fight. So our door guys were really good about weeding out problems. One of the things we did, and this is a fact, we would not let 10 guys come in with 1 girl, okay? Because now you have a club full of 100 guys and 5 girls, okay? Again, not good for business. So obviously we encouraged the girls to come in as groups. We'd have the girls come in. So we always filled up the club with girls, and we'd always have more girls than guys. And again, that was John and Joe's brilliant marketing. It would be free for girls, cheap drinks for girls, whatever it was. Brilliant marketing. You always wanted more girls than guys in the club, and so we hardly had any fights. But we had fights. We had to deal with the fights. We had to throw them out the door. We had to do what we could do. Were there conflicts? Yeah, once in a while. We had so many frivolous lawsuits. Now that's where I come into play. My responsibility, because there were 4 partners, my responsibility with the club was anything business related. Lawsuits, taxes, legal issues, licenses, going to court if we get caught with an underage drinker. That was my job. So I handled all the business end of things. And so any conflicts, that kind of conflict, I handled. Any in-house conflicts, John and Joe handled. Great relationship. We never had a fight in 17 years. The partnership lasted 17 years, and I'll tell you why. On our very, very first business meeting, Rich Lupo ran the meeting at Lupo's down in the basement. And we remember this before you even opened the club. And he said, look, to avoid conflicts, anytime there's a question that we need to answer and we don't know the answer to it, just ask yourself what's in the best interest of the business. And that's what we did. Anytime there was a conflict or a problem or a question would come up, we would ask ourselves what's in the best interest of the business, and that was it. We all agreed. We never, ever, ever had a fight, never had a conflict in that club, ever. And that was a good thing. Drinking my Gatorade. My zero Gatorade, or Powerade, zero Powerade. It's basically flavored water, but it is thirst quenching. And I talk a lot. Holding up in the storm well, again, it's windy, it's very windy, and I see snow blowing around behind me and in front of me. But I don't know how much more is coming, but it is the drifts are getting higher. The drifts are getting a lot higher, and I know it's supposed to go to 8 o'clock tonight. I don't think it's changed. I haven't really looked at the forecast at all. So I don't know if it's changed at all. Let's see. I think I answered okay. So it's interesting when people talk about the $12,000, you're going to go after the kid with $12,000. So if anybody knows anything about that, first of all, in the old days, you're right. I would have great ways of getting my $12,000 back or getting $12,000 worth out of it. In the old days, in the new days, you can still do it, but it takes time. It takes time. You want to be unpredictable. It takes time. So that will, it is what it is. It will happen. JR's Fast Lane. So JR's Fast Lane. JR's was a great, great, great live venue. 1984. Does everybody remember the Panama Tour? 1984 Van Halen Panama Tour. So at that time, I worked at a local radio station part-time, and my job was to go and set up the remote equipment. They'd broadcast live somewhere. So sure enough, that radio station at the time, 1984, WHJY, which is still around now, rock and roll station. I worked there part-time. I was actually a producer at their AM station, then I started working for the FM station. And my job, again, was to go around and set up the remote equipment. So Van Halen, they had a Van Halen party at JR's Fast Lane, and I went there and set up all the remote equipment at JR's. And it was when they were here performing at the Providence Civic Center for their 1984 tour. So I was 20 at the time. So that was fun. That was exciting. But yeah, JR's was great. JR's was great. Yeah, make money. He met his first girl at the Velvet Club, so he thought. So I got to tell you what's funny about that. On Wednesday nights at Club Hell, we had the fetish night, and you could not tell the difference between some guys and girls. I will tell you, I'd go in there, and there were some beautiful girls sitting at the bar with a bulge, but they were beautiful. And you couldn't tell the difference. You really could not tell the difference. I was impressed, and that was back in, I was back in 2020. I mean, in 2010. And that was pretty cool. It was great. So another bar that was a great bar. I think it's still around now. In fact, we installed some of the sound and lighting in it. Was the Mirror Bar. Mirror Bar is a gay club. Been around for years. Been around since I was in college. And great owner, great bar, and done very well, very classy. And they moved a couple of times throughout the years. And I was always impressed with that bar. But gay bar, very, very successful bar. The club business is a business. You're marketing to your clientele, and they did it very well. And they were there forever, longer than us. They were there before hell, and they were there after hell. So that was the Mirror Bar. Gerardo's, same thing. Gerardo's is around forever, ever. A great club. Let's see, what else do we have here? Let's see, you. Yeah, I know. Imagine seeing that floating down the river. Listen, it was so funny. When we went downstairs, they were floating around. Like I said, we should have got rid of them. But it was just so funny. We had a name for them. They were the penis poles. We didn't know what to do, but we took them down and put them in the basement. Anyway, let's see. Oh yeah, Hennessy's. I remember Hennessy's up the road. Yep, Hennessy's was up the road. So Hennessy's was on the corner of Westminster Street where our dive bar was. They were up the street. The laundry mafia has not shown up to pick up their washers and dryers yet. That's fun. They have not come. Now, we've already installed our new ones, but they have not come to get theirs yet. That was so weird. I never even heard of this company before. If anyone wants to know the story on that, I bought a piece of property that had a washer and dryer in it, and it had a name on it. So the seller told me that, she used this service for their washer and dryer. So I said, yeah, well, I'm not going to use them. I have my own washers and dryers. Why am I going to pay them? So we called them up to get rid of them. So I thought it was going to be easy. So, for instance, I'll give you an example. When I buy a piece of property and another waste company is servicing the property, I will call them up and I'll say, hi, whatever, an ABC company, whatever it is. Actually, that's actually a company, so I shouldn't even use that. But anyway, XYZ company. Hi, I just bought this piece of property. I'm no longer going to need your services. No problem. We'll pick up our dumpster. Or they'll say, well, who are you going to go with? We'd like to sign you up. And I say, well, we're going with Butler Waste Disposal. They're okay. But you know what? We're going to go with them. We use them everywhere else. So what am I supposed to do? So they'll come and pick up the dumpster. It's not a big deal when we change properties. But not the washer and dryer people. It's like I took the last penny out of their mouth. I knocked them down and stole their milk money in the schoolyard. We called them up and said, come take your washer and dryer. And what do? They're like, you can't get rid of the contract. We have a 7-year contract with you. Those have to stay there. I said, you don't have a 7-year contract. I just bought the property. I didn't say anything with you. Come take them out of there. Nope, they have to stay there. I said, well, they can stay there, but I'm unplugging them and putting them in the corner and putting mine in place, so you do what you want. Oh, you can't do that. I said, who says I can't do that? Take me to court. Take me to the laundry court over your washer and dryer. Now, In a 4-unit house, everybody, a washer and dryer might bring in $150 a month in a 4-unit. Might. Depends on how many people live in the apartments, how much clothes. I'm using averages here. So I do it out of convenience for my tenants. I don't do it to make money. The money that it makes, I just buy more washers and dryers for another piece of property. And by the way, the washers and dryers are $1,000 each. Then you have to install them. So you're looking at probably $3,000 to build a laundry room, right? So at $150 a month, I have my electric bill, my gas bill. I'm not making money. Those are the real numbers. I do it as a courtesy for the tenants, so it's convenient for them, and I try to make it convenient for them. So anyway, that's why I let these people take me to laundry court, because they think I broke their contract. But they call every day, but we tell them, take them out. We don't want them. So it was just funny when I bought the 39-unit building, and they had the same company in there with the 4 washers and 4 dryers. Now we have to have the same conversation with them about taking those out. So they just lost 2 customers in Cranston, and they're all like crying and whining and fighting with me over it. Just take them out. Just take them out. So that's what happened with that. But I've never had to fight with a washer and dryer company before. That's crazy. So that's funny. That's so funny. Wow, when we went to that concert, the Van Halen concert. Yeah, I was at that one. So when I worked at that radio station, it was fun. I got to go to some good concerts. The Cars, Jay Giles, Van Halen, 38 Special. These are concerts that I went to when I worked at that radio station. At the time, those were great concerts, And then live, so the band Live we actually had at Rocky Point when I was at Rocky Point. So there were some really cool concerts, really fun concerts. Let's see, what else we got here? I'm already in Cranston, coming soon to Cranston. I'm already in Cranston. Follow the host. Pat Span knows what you guys do. Okay, what should you get back to? Would you ever get back to the club? I would. So Joe and I talk about it all the time because we're in the office every day. And that would be Joe's first love anyway. He's doing me a favor right now by helping with the business. But if the opportunity ever arose, yes, we would probably, open up another club, go into another club. It would be different now because the club business has changed so much, even in Rhode Island. It'd be different. Plus, it was easy. Joe always jokes about it. It was easy when he was 20. Joe looked young till he was like 30, 35, 40. He always looked young, full head of hair, dark hair. He always looked young. So it was easy for him to go on the college campuses and recruit college kids promoters to promote the club. Now we're a little older. It might be a little tough. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, we definitely will get back in the club business. That's something that we always talk about. It just hasn't really watched. Hey, Tennessee, how you doing? Just received a notice to vacate. Nervous about how they will respond. I texted them yesterday. So you sent so yeah, believe me, I still get a little nervous when you send a notice to vacate and you send it at the end of the month, and that's when you should send the notice to vacate at the end of the month. So when I send a notice to vacate, it's 30 days notice. So they're going to get it on the 1st or the 30th. Of course, rent is due for that month. So now they get pissed off. Should I pay my rent? Well, legally, they should pay their rent. Or I'll use my last month's security deposit. Well, legally, you're not supposed to do that. So some tenants are honest and ethical and will pay and vacate on time. Some tenants are pissed off because you're kicking them out of their apartment or house, and they won't pay their rent, and they'll fight you on leaving. I have 2. In fact, I will share the information with you as it happens because I have 2 that are supposed to vacate on Monday. In 2 single-family houses that I have that I sent notices to vacate. So I will let you know if they leave, if they don't leave. So here's what happens. If they don't leave, they're called holdovers, right? By law, that's what it's called. Then they're supposed to pay rent, but B, I then have to take them to court to evict them because now they're holdovers. It's easier for me to evict them if they don't pay their rent. If they don't pay their rent by the 16th, I go right to eviction court, they didn't pay their rent, boom, they're out. If they pay their rent, I still have to evict them. It takes a little longer to get them out. I have to go through civil court just because they're holdover tenants. So it's either eviction court or civil court. I mean, it's district court, but it's either a civil matter or a tenant-landlord matter is what their legal terms. So if they don't pay their rent, it's easy. I just get them out. So if they get pissed off and they don't pay their rent, they're gone. If they get pissed off and they stay and they don't pay their rent, then I have to evict them. Of course, I would have a security deposit for the month of February. But that's typically what happens. Hopefully the person you sent the notes to will just move out. It is a business transaction. You rented them a space, they paid for the space. Now you want your space back. They have to understand that. It's your space, you want it back. It doesn't even matter why you want it back. You just want it back. It's your space, and you gave them proper notice. So please stay in touch with me. I'm curious to know, and I will be sharing information with everybody on TikTok as to what happens. By the way, you know what's I'm impressed with? There's no glitching today on my TikTok. It's actually working very smooth in this bad weather. Hi from Chicago. Your family owned a vending company in the 70s and 80s. So the vending business back then, you must have been extremely successful because it was all about vending machines back then. Soda machines, Coke machines, candy machines, cigarette machines. Back then, that was probably a gold mine. Now it's a little tougher. The other question that was just before that, I want to answer that question too because I missed that. Oh, the driver. So the driver that went and freelanced and used the truck, what we did was, in all fairness, you know, she paid me for the 4 times that she did go, and we verified, picked up the trash. We went back over our records. It was just this one customer, or it wasn't my customer, her customer. She did it 4 times. She did pay us, and she also paid us for the use of the truck. And she did ask for her job back. What I'm doing is I have a consultant that works for the business, who's been in the business for 17 years, and Brian, and they manage the business. I own the business. So I don't overstep my bounds. They are running the business. I'm letting them make decisions. Right now, she's, I guess, technically still suspended, and she did pay us back. So it's going to be interesting to see what Brian and Dave, as our consultant, come up with, and I will let you know. I will let you know. You know, same thing with what happened with the club. I had partners in the club. We were equal partners, even though Joe and I, Rich and I put up money. We were all equal partners. We were all equal decision makers. But whatever job responsibility we held, no one ever questioned the decision that person made. So if John and Joe fired somebody, did anything, I backed them up 100%. Didn't matter what it was. So I treat my managers the same way. When Andrew makes a decision with a tenant, I back him up. When Brian and Dave make a decision with an employee or a trash customer, I'm going to back them up. May or may not agree, but they are running the business. I hired them to run the business. Not every decision is going to make me feel good. But she is suspended. She did pay us back. So I will let you know, and we'll see what happens. You know, I talked about giving people in the past, and I think part of the issue is I believe in second chances and even third chances. And I talked about this before. I gave an employee a second chance, which just came back a couple months ago from rehab, and he's doing fabulous. Great attitude, great personality, completely different person being sober, and that's why I do believe in giving second and third chances. I always have. Maybe people call me a sucker. I don't know. As long as I keep moving forward and doing well, then I feel like, okay, I'm doing something right. So I don't want to judge people. There are people that have personal problems, outside problems, and I don't want to judge people. So anyway, hey, Chicago. So yeah, I said hi to Chicago. Thanks, Jeff. The kid's about to notice to vacate. Oh, for the phone notice to vacate. Yeah, like I said, notices to vacate are very difficult. So I will tell you about mine. I bought these houses about 6 months ago, and the tenants were month to month. So what I do is, and I've talked about this before, if I buy property and there's already tenants in the property, I want to get to know them before I decide whether I'm going to raise the rent, ask them to leave, write them a year lease. So that's why when I buy properties, I leave it pretty open-ended for a good 6 months. Then I will decide, okay, do I want this tenant there? Do I want to increase their rent because they're not paying enough rent? Or do I just want to ask them to leave? In this particular case, these 2 tenants, I just needed to ask them to leave. They're just not a good fit for what I want for tenants. One of the problems is that one of the tenants has 2 big, huge pit bull dogs. I like dogs. My insurance company does not like pit bull dogs. I love dogs. I love all kinds of dogs. I have 2 dogs. It's the insurance company that's strict. But the problem that I have in this particular case is I have these 4 houses on one lot, and the dogs, it's not quiet enjoyment. They bark all day. They scare people, let's face it, because they're large. So they scare people. So they're not a good fit there. That being said, if I had a single family house on its own somewhere else, oh, breaking news, Tom Brady is retiring from the NFL. according to a report from ESPN. Tom Brady is retiring from the NFL. I just got that breaking news on my other iPad. Interesting. I wonder if that makes my, I have the autographed Tom Brady football. I wonder if that makes it more valuable. You know what I mean? Because now he's retired. I don't know. I've had that football for 12 years. The autograph. I showed that on TikTok when I got my 100,000 followers. That was my big thing. I showed my temporary tattoo. Yeah, no way, Pat. Yeah, I'm telling you, I just saw it. Go to ESPN. It was just breaking news. Another one now. Tom Brady's retiring. So that's unbelievable. See, it's on my other iPad. See, I got see the breaking. Oh shoot, I just touched it. See, breaking news right there. It's backwards to you, but trust me. I'm really surprised. I am really surprised. I don't hide the fact that I was disappointed when he went to Tampa. I felt like he really betrayed the Patriots. I understand he had reasons to go. We're not going to go down that path. I'm just saying I was disappointed. I'm not talking about the reasons, but I was disappointed. I wanted him to finish his career in New England. I just really did. But obviously, I bet you Gronkowski doesn't retire. I bet he stays. I bet he stays. But anyway, he's still a great player. Oh, yeah, absolutely. I mean, absolutely. There's no question in my mind that Tom Brady is not a great player. When they say he's the best of all times, absolutely. But I got to tell you something. I enjoyed football this year because I watched every team, not every game, but I watched every team at least once. And I really enjoyed watching all the different teams, the different styles, it was great, But anyway, did the 5-unit waterfront building clear out their belongings in the basement? Yes, so they did. I went in the basement the other day. What we did is they went in there, they cleaned it out. My electrician was there the other day. In fact, I did the TikTok on all the lighting. My electrician put all new lights in the basement, all motion activated sensor lights now, because I complained about them propping the door open and I pay the heat. Well, what happened was the other day when I went to check the basement, the lights were on, all fluorescent lights that I pay for. Yeah, it's not going to happen. So I had my electrician go there the next day, just put all brand new lights in the basement. He did the new lights upstairs, the new lights outside. And I just saw a bird fly by. Yes, I did, in the winter. Channel 6 News just said Brady to retire. So anyway, I put all new lights in the basement. So now this week, yes, we'll get in there. We'll build a little 6 cubicles for them for their storage. So it's nice. Every property I try to make them the same. Each apartment has storage in the basement. Now let's talk about storage in the basements. I went in the basement of the 39 unit the other day. There are storage units in there. 39 storage units, all full. But they can't be full because half of the tenants had moved out. So now, this happens all the time. Tenants move, they leave their stuff down there. They don't care. It's junk. It's crap. So now my staff has to go through there one at a time cleaning out the basement storage units. And of course, we have apartments upstairs to clean out. But that's what we're doing this week. That's why that was a good question about the storage units. And there's always something to do. I have 6 full-time maintenance guys. When they come in every morning, there's so much for them to do. It's unbelievable. Every day. Yep, another one. Boy, Fox News. Tom Brady after 22 seasons. Yeah. I'm surprised. I expected him to go on a few million. I'm really surprised about that. Disappointed but surprised. But like I said, this year there were so many good teams. I mean, it was just this year was a crapshoot. Nobody ever expected, the way it did in the play. People in the teams in the playoff games. Nobody expected any. I don't care what anybody says. Maybe Kansas City, but I don't think anybody expected it from day one. I mean, it really it was great throughout the season. Anyway, let's see. Man, he had a great personality. His commercials are great personality. Yep, I gave the breaking news on TikTok. Take all the garage, all that unit. Yeah, we're going to clean out all the storage. Will we agree to disagree on what? What are we disagreeing on, Jay Martin? What are we disagreeing on? Oh, Manning.
You think, I don't know if Gronk's going to hang up his cleats too. That's a really good question. That is a really good question. That's a really good question. I don't know. I almost feel like trying to, let me see if I can do this. I want to see if I can get the professional football player going. Get him on here. We could talk to him and ask him his opinion. But I don't know how I can do that. But anyway, yeah. So it's too bad. That's an interesting one, to be honest with you. That he is. Boy, that's going to be the talk, huh? Of the week coming up. That is definitely going to be the talk. There's no doubt in my mind. The playoffs this year have been the best ever. The best ever. Last weekend's game, yeah, they were nail biters. Did you see my nails? Last weekend's games are the best football games I've ever seen. I don't care what anybody says. They're just unbelievable games, I don't believe in the overtime rule. The overtime rule aggravates me. Doesn't matter who won. I don't like that stupid overtime rule. It aggravates me, but it is what it is, How many rentals do you own total? So total, I have 350 rental units. About 20 of them are commercial, 330 or so residential rental units. So that's total how many I have. It's across 65 buildings, something like that. I'm about to close on 5 more buildings Monday, which is going to be another 20 units. And then I have another Wednesday. I'm closing on another building at 7 units. So I'll be up to about 375 at that point. I continue to buy property. Been aggressive the last 6 months with buying property, but that's the story with that. And we'll see what happens. We'll see if I keep buying or whatever. But I am buying more. It's interesting is that I got a lot going on, as you can tell. People say, how do you do it? Well, Andrew handles the real estate. He has openings. He needs another property manager. We need another bookkeeper for the real estate. So he has his own problems, his own openings. Brian, he's hiring drivers for Butler Waste because Butler Waste is growing. So he's dealing with the drivers and hiring more drivers. For me, does my workload increase? A little. So the only reason my work, because I scale, so they manage their own departments. The only reason my workload increases is because I have to figure out what project that we want to go on to and coordinate getting that project going. Dwayne has moved up. Dwayne's I call him my foreman, my senior construction manager, whatever you want to call him. He's my right-hand man when it comes to the construction. He's been with me for 18 years. And what's happening now is we have like 9 projects going on at the same time. I did this the other day. I went on TikTok and showed all 9 projects. We had 9 projects going on at the same time. So now Dwayne daily goes one to the other, to the other, to the other. Answers questions, directs the guys, the plumbers, electricians, the contractors. And so Dwayne and I are in contact a lot more than we used to be. Because Dwayne used to be the guy out in the field doing the job. And he still is. A lot of times because he specializes. So he'll do a lot of the specialty stuff. But he's going around. So I have a lot going on. As long as I can keep hiring people and scaling, my workload shouldn't change that much, except that I need an executive assistant now because my phone rings, my emails, I miss phone calls, and I don't want that to happen. And I want time to do my TikTok. Sometimes work gets in the way. So that's why I have to get somebody to help me out. So that way I have my time to do my TikTok. I can close the door to my office. My executive assistant can be outside my office, deal with all the bullshit. And I can be in my office doing this. It's a perfect world, perfect world. So, and that's what I want to do. So anyway, let's see. What's the next one? You learned it from Jeff on TikTok. Well, I'll tell you, it was amazing. It just came right on from ESPN. So, yep, that's right here on my face. I couldn't believe it. Yeah, sign a 1-day contract with the Patriots, huh? Then he would have ended with the Patriots. I feel bad. I feel bad because, look, didn't Brett Favre retired, came back. A little different story. But, want him end on he ended with the Super Bowl last year, so you can't, he is the best of all times. Would I have loved to end the Super Bowl with the Patriots? Absolutely. We will never in our lifetime, and I'm 57, see somebody else like Tom Brady ever again. That being said, Mac Jones, listen, rookie, he did a great job this year. Come on, he did. Okay, for a rookie, he did a great job. The last playoff game, maybe not so, but you look at him this year, he was as good, if not better, than Tom Brady's first year. So we can't take that away from him. It was his first year. But just everywhere else. I mean, look, I know people have their own opinion on Mahomes. Look, I was so impressed with him last week. You know, he was great, Mahomes, last week. I don't care what anybody says. And a lot of friends don't like him and say he's cocky. I don't see that. I see him as a great football player. He wanted to win that game last week, and he went for it and did what he needed to do. That's all I got to say about that. So, yeah, the whole football, what do you want to say? The whole image is all changing. All the people are changing, the players are changing, the whole perspective is changing. And I think that's what's exciting about it, because you don't know what to expect, for all your different teams that you're fans of, So that's the story with that. I would love, let me see. I don't know if this will work. I don't know where my phone is. See, the problem that I have is this. Brian, my nephew, knows everything about football. He's unbelievable. And I'd love to talk to him about this, okay? And the problem is he uses some sort of cheapo-ass phone service that I can't do like FaceTime with or Skype with or whatever it is. So I have to call him the old-fashioned way. And it really aggravates me. You know what I'm saying? I know. I'll probably have to get him a company phone. You know what I'm saying? So I'm calling him, and I'm going to put him on the speakerphone, and I'm going to put him on the spot. That's what I'm going to do. You know what I'm saying? We'll see if he answers. He might even be watching me. I don't know. Good. How you doing? Listen, I'm on live on TikTok right now, and I don't know if you heard the news about Tom Brady retiring.
So I don't know if it's official. I know that his manager's been looking for a new, younger talent to represent, and I know that sources close to him or people close to him are like preparing for the inevitable, which seems to be a press conference where he announces a retirement.
Okay. Now, like I said, I'm on TikTok. I told everybody that you are the expert when it comes to football, and that you teach me everything I don't know about it. So I would have loved to have you on here live, but you don't do FaceTime, right?
No, I don't have FaceTime.
No, so you don't have FaceTime because your phone doesn't. You save $1 a month by not having FaceTime.
I don't have an iPhone now.
No, see, I was just telling everybody I'm gonna have to get you an iPhone. That's what's gonna have to happen.
We'll have to work on that.
We'll have to activate one of those iPhones. But anyway, Brian, this is Brian Butler. He manages Butler Waste. Okay, so rollaway, because we just acquired rollaway, right, Brian?
That's correct.
All right. Okay. How's it going today? Any complaints today?
No complaints today.
All right.
No.
So today, nobody has complained about us not picking up their garbage. Now, that's a good thing. It's the first time since I started the business. That being said, we won't say that trucks are not supposed to be on the road today and the state shut down because of the blizzard. We won't use that as the excuse why we got no negative comments, okay? All right, Brian. Well, thanks for the information about Brady. So you're thinking there's going to be a press conference at some point?
I'm expecting a press conference within the next probably 24 to 48 hours.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
Now let's see. Yeah, people make money. So listen, people are saying that you're on the Obama phone. That's true. He's on the Obama phone. You know what I'm saying?
I'm on an Android. I'm on 5G iPhone plus, not iPhone, a OnePlus 8. I have a legitimate Android cell phone.
Yes, but I can't put you on visually right now. I had Ian on last night live from California with a video, but you're right down the street and I can't put you on. I can put your name on. That's it.
Right down the street. I mean, if it wasn't for the snow, maybe I could come down there, but
Yeah.
The street should be more like a toboggan in this crap.
So listen, the next question is this. People are asking, okay, do you think Gronk is next?
I actually think Gronk's going to play one more year.
Okay. Well, we'll see if that prediction...
I know he's a free agent, and it's entirely possible he'll just follow Brady, but, I think he wants to play one more year.
All right. Now, here's the other thing, Brian. You were in, 12 or 13 fantasy football leagues this year, right?
Wasn't quite that many, but yeah, I was in a few.
Okay. So, and how did you do?
To be honest, I did not do well. I made the playoffs in half of them, and the other half I was, I had a lot of bad luck. I had Christian McCaffrey in several leagues, and he kind of torpedoed my season, and, a lot of injuries. Ezekiel Elliott did not perform at all either. So
You
that
know,
kind of hurt.
Brian, somebody knows you on here. Somebody on my TikTok live knows you. They just wrote, listen, he's a millennial rebelling against Apple. And that is you. That is funny.
I only rebel against Apple because most people and how Apple was presented and is advertised was the hip thing. It's, hip things, MacBook and all that stuff. And, that they're all about the people, unlike, big corporate Microsoft and Android and all that. However, every single time they come up with a new generation, you have to upgrade every single peripheral. If you're buying a MacBook, you have to buy a new CD drive, you got to buy a new DVD drive, you got to buy new cables. It's a whole... In my opinion, that's not for the people. That is, for their customers. That is more for the company than it is for the thing. I just think it's kind of hypocritical, and that's pretty much why I've been very anti, Apple and Mac. Not to mention the fact you can't, or at least for the longest time, you couldn't upgrade. For the most part, MacBooks or MacBooks or Mac PCs or Apple PCs. Whereas every single time I want to upgrade my computer, if I want a new video card, I just get the appropriate video card for my motherboard. That's it. It's very easy. It's not I don't have to buy a whole new machine. I can just buy parts to make it better.
So the one area that Brian and I do agree on is PCs. At the office, we use PCs. Brian actually builds our PCs for the office. So we do agree on that. I don't use an Apple computer. My wife does. She's a lawyer. She uses them at work. But we use PCs at home. We use PCs at the office. And Brian's right. They're so easy. You need a new motherboard, a processor, memory, whatever it is. It's easier to switch out than Apple. That being said, everything else I use is Apple. I use my Apple iPhone. I'm talking to you on another Apple iPhone. I got my Apple iPad here. So everything else I use is Apple, which I love. But for some reason in the office, we use PCs. It's easier for the network. I mean, and we use QuickBooks and everything else. So, Brian, I do agree with you on the PCs, but I don't know why you just don't help, get a phone. I mean, you're killing me over here,
I think that Apple made a smart decision when they did with the iPad when they originally came out and promoted how portable it was because nobody else was really competing with that at that time. And Microsoft's got the Surface and the Surface Pro and all that now, but they're a little late to the game. And those are obviously, in my opinion, most of those are a little more powerful, which is what they promote. And it's more accessible because you can, write on the screen and things like that with a stencil or whatever it is. But the... what it's called, the little pen thing, stylus. But I'm sure that the new iPads can do that too. But I will agree with you that the iPads are incredibly valuable, especially when you're doing, Special Olympics and things like that. You can use them on site there.
Right.
Everybody can use them. It's user friendly. I understand that.
All right. Okay. All right. Well, that makes sense. So, well, Brian, anything you want to add about the whole football? What do you think about, actually, we were talking about this earlier, this year in general, how'd you feel about football?
I thought it was really good. I thought there was a lot of more unexpected than what you usually have.
All right.
Like the Cardinals were extremely good. I started off, we were 8-9-0, and, like last season they collapsed at the end of the season. From Wisconsin originally, so I do root for the Packers. I like the Seahawks because there are many reasons, and I love the Patriots. So it's it was pretty impressive to see what the Patriots did, and they drafted the right quarterback. I was very happy with the quarterback they drafted. I'm also a huge Alabama fan because I love Nick Saban. He was a friend, or is a friend of Belichick's, and Bill Belichick I trust. So to see him come out and actually, produce at a level that is comparable with, most quarterbacks in the league, I thought was awesome. And I just think, I think that the last few weeks, the defense really let the team down, and especially in the playoffs, especially that game against the Bills was pretty bad. I don't think a Bill Belichick team is ever not prepared, but I just, they didn't do what they needed to do out there. They didn't execute.
All right. Well, that's good. All right. Well, that's good to know. That's good. I mean, Brian, everyone has their opinion. Somebody on here says you don't know what you're talking about, but I do think you know what you're talking about because you made some recommendations to me that I actually, won a few games today on this year on the betting. You know what I'm saying? So I appreciate that. I'm thinking that maybe I'll set up a live where you actually can come on video and we do a co-host thing, and because there are a lot of people that follow me, obviously they're interested in football, and I defer to you on that.
Yeah, we'll have to do that at some point.
Absolutely. So, yeah, absolutely. I'm trying to call Ian. He's not answering. I wanted to invite Ian to be on today with me from California. I want to talk about audiovisual.
He's living at large right now. He's not staring out the window at 16 inches of snow already.
No, Ian is the one. Yeah, Ian is my show manager that is doing a show in California. Brian, that was your show, right?
He just did a show for me, and from what I understand, he did an excellent job. So.
All right. All right. So that's the audiovisual. So that's the audiovisual business. So Brian used to, work full time for the audiovisual business, selling. Now he's working part time for that and managing Butler Waste, wearing two hats. But he's. Hey, Ian, how you doing?
Good, how are you?
Good. I actually have Brian on the phone too because we're talking football, and I'm live on TikTok right now. So Ian is live on my iPad in California. So Ian, tell me. Let me bring Ian on. I can actually bring Ian on because he's on video. So there we go. Let me see. Can we get him? There he is.
Ian, are you decent before we bring you on camera?
Where'd you go, Ian?
I'm plugging in the hotspot.
All right, listen, Ian. You're making me look bad over here. I'm supposed to be professional on TikTok. There we go. So Ian, where are you? Tell everybody where you are.
Palm Springs, California.
Yep. And why are you in Palm Springs and not in Rhode Island?
Because my flight got canceled 3 times.
Yep, 3 times his flight got canceled. So Ian is a audiovisual show manager, okay? He travels around the country doing audiovisual shows. Brian actually sold the show, so it's funny that Brian's on the phone right now. And Ian was supposed to fly home yesterday, but late Thursday night, I got a text that his flight got canceled. So now he is, I guess because of the weather, he is now stuck in California, in Palm Springs, and having a terrible time, right?
Stuck in Palm Springs.
Terrible time, right? So Ian,
Here.
What is it?
65 here right now. It's very cold.
Yeah, 65. That's not that bad, 65. That's not bad. So Ian has been a show manager. Ian, how long you been with me now? At least 10 years anyway, right?
Almost 11 years.
All right, so Ian has worked for Audiovisual Services for 11 years, traveling all over the country, been to Hawaii. Why don't you tell everybody about the great Hawaii trip?
So I got off the plane in Hawaii, got ready to go to my hotel, and back hotel. And they looked at me like I had 5 heads. Because I was on the wrong island. I flew into Kona, the big island, instead of Maui, where I was supposed to be.
So,
and they said, take the ferry there.
So what happened was, we have a client. In fact, I'll tell you the client. It's a funny client. It's the International Veterinary Dermatology Association. So listen. So did you hear that, guys? The International Veterinary Dermatology Association. Zit doctors for pets. Okay. So they are a great client. They love Ian. So no matter where they go, they ask for Ian because he was in Hawaii that year. We had to ship all our equipment to Hawaii, had to send it out like a month early. Then Ian flew there. Yep, sure enough, we made a mistake, sent him to the wrong island. He called me at 3 a.m, hey Jeff, guess what, I'm at the wrong island. So we actually had to find, oh, there he goes there with his bad internet. I lost you for a second, Ian. So,
hold on.
Oh, there you go. I got you. Yeah, at least I have your audio when I lose your video. So Ian was on the wrong island. So I said, well, you got to get to the right island. So luckily enough, there was somebody nice enough to let him stay at their place or something that night, right? Isn't that what happened? Ian, what happened?
Yeah, well, I actually had an in-law in the back of our house and get a $70 cab ride to our house for free, made me breakfast and dinner, and then brought me back and made sure I got on the right plane. Right,
so you had to jump from one island to the other for the next day.
Yeah.
All right. So these organizations, like the Veterinary Dermatology Organization, the reason they pick exotic, nice places is because they want their members to attend the conference. So that's why people say, hey, why are these conferences there? Well, that's why. So they skip. They go every other year, right, Brian? What do they do every other year? Ian?
Yes.
So last year they were in Puerto Rico, right?
They were
in
exotic place that Ian went to. Puerto Rico was my show, ironically, also.
Oh, Brian.
Ian also did for me.
Oh, all right. So that was another one in Puerto Rico. So Ian, you did a show for Brian in Puerto Rico, right?
That was admin.
I did.
Oh.
Advertiser managing executives.
Okay. All right.
Conference.
So what happens is we do so many, Ian, I keep losing you, but anyway, we do so many conferences around the country. So Brian's a salesman, Joe's a salesman, Mark's a salesman, Mike's a salesman. So they sell the conferences, and Ian's one of the guys that goes out and does the conferences. And that's the audiovisual business. So that business, by the way, is my main business. It's the business that really made me all the money all the years that I was able to buy real estate. So when people said, where did you get the money to buy real estate? It was the audiovisual business. Now, Ian, you're stuck in Palm Springs till Monday? Ian? You're making me look bad. I keep losing him. I don't know why he has bad internet wherever he is, you know. But he's stuck in Palm Springs till Monday. They did give him another flight on Monday to get out of Palm Springs. You back? So he's still, yeah, so he got stuck in Palm Springs till Monday, and then you're flying back on Monday. But that, you know, that's too bad. But, right? What are you doing for the day? What'd you do today? Anything good?
I walked around a little bit. There's not much to see around here, but thought about going to the Air Museum.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah, why not? Why not? You might as well take advantage of it, you know?
Yeah.
Take advantage of what, you know, what's going on there, you know? But anyway, so Ian, I appreciate you being on, you know? So Ian never knows where he's going next, because when we sell the shows, the salesman sells the shows, then we have meetings and we decide who's going to go run the next show, or go on the next show. But there are a lot of clients that will ask for specific show managers because they build a relationship with them. Right? Ian, so there's certain people who ask for you, and we can't figure out why either. You know what I'm saying? So we don't know why they ask for certain ones, you know. But yeah, no, that's why people, they build a relationship, then the clients like them, and they'll say, hey, we're going to so-and-so, and we would like that show manager again. And that's what happens. So anyway, all right, well, Ian, thanks for joining me for a few minutes on my live. You know, I appreciate it. I appreciate it. So, and actually, Ian, stay on for 1 second. So, one thing I want to talk about, so my construction company, I've had, you know, my Elmwood Realty, every once in a while we'll do a huge conference somewhere. We just need extra bodies to move equipment here and there, set up rooms. So I always invite the guys from the construction, hey, do you want a break from remodeling houses? You can go on an audiovisual show. So Ian, we were at, which one were we at when Dwayne went? Where was that? Was that? Long Beach, California?
Yeah.
Yeah. So we did a show in Long Beach, California, the Long Beach Convention Center. If anybody lives out there, you've been there. It's a huge convention, ton of walking. So I brought 5 of my guys from the construction company that came. All their job was in the morning to help set up equipment, and at night break it down. So we had them all fly with us to California, and you know, and it's like letting how do you want to say it? It's letting like a caged cat out or a caged dog out. They're wild on the shows, my guys. You know, they work hard in the morning. Ian's laughing because there were a couple of bars that we went out to that, you know, and the guys, right? Ian, am I right or wrong? You know, the guys are like caged. They're like caged animals. When we bring the guys, you know, they're like caged animals. So Ian, the show manager, you know, they have to have the professional persona with our client. They have to look good in front of the client. Meanwhile, we got a bunch of wild animals with us that we have to tame at night and during the day. Brian, I don't think you've ever had that experience, right, with any of the guys?
I mean, I went to New Orleans for a show, but I was not with the guys on that particular event.
Oh, so you weren't wild with them on that show. So anyway, but anyways, that's why the audiovisual business is the business that I really made my money with over the years, and that business has grown, and now it's back. Brian, you're working on a couple of shows, what, in February and March, or no?
2 in May.
All right, so you're working on a couple in May?
And I got one I'm trying to sign that in March.
Okay, all right. So that's what happens. Our sales guys talk to the conferences, whatever may be coming up. They sell the conference, we book the conference, and then we pick either Ian or Rick or, you know, or one of our Texas guys or something like that to manage the shows. And that's what we do, the audiovisual. So that sounds good. So I know we have something coming up in March. Ian, do you know if Mark or any of the other guys have anything going on or no?
I saw a couple things the end of February and the start of March.
Okay, all right. So with the pandemic, so people know, the audiovisual business, we used to go from one show to the next, overlapping. We'd have 6 at a time. We're just still ramping up, and that's why there's spaces in between. Keep the guys working, though, because now Ian will come back and he'll do something like really fun this week for me, like, I don't know, install a floor or whatever. Something fun. We'll find something. Actually, we're working on the warehouse. You'll probably be in the warehouse. What'd you say?
I said it used to be months at a time before you'd see Ian's handsome face back in the office.
That's true. Yeah, it's true. They used to travel months at a time. They'd be gone for months and months and months from one show to the other. We would just keep shipping out the equipment from the office. But now there's spaces in between. Actually, though, the audiovisual business is going to be moving back to our old office. You're probably going to be doing that this week, helping them move. So we'll see. But anyway, so that's the story with the audiovisual business. I can't wait till it gets back full time. Mark runs that business, so that's why I don't even know all the shows that are going on. I look at the calendar once in a while and I see it, but that's how it should be. That's how it should be.
We got 2 at the end of, one at the end of February to the week of the 21st, 25th that week, and then the next one is in, we have a couple in March.
Okay.
March.
All right.
So.
All right. Okay. All right. By the way, all right, I want to just tell everybody on TikTok, because I'm showing everybody. There's Ian, by the way, and there's Brian. That's Brian, because he doesn't have video, okay, because it costs an extra $1 a month. He's a cheapskate. So look at the snow. It's actually about 2 feet high over there, 2 feet here in the windows. So I have about 2 feet. Now, a lot of that looks like it was blown, so I don't know what the actual average, I don't know what we actually have for snowfall. You can see my windows are covered. There we go. My windows are definitely covered with snow. My iPad got tight loose. So that's the story with that, everybody, on that. So, all right, Ian, well, I appreciate you joining me. I'm going to be getting off my live soon anyway. I might do another one later. If I do, I'll let you know. See, I didn't tell him I was calling him. I caught him by surprise. He had to hurry up and get dressed. All right, thanks.
All right.
Bye.
Go.
Bye.
All right. So anyway, same to Brian. I didn't tell Brian either. I put everybody on the spot. I'm a jerk like that. So let's see. What else do we have? Go outside and do a snow angel live on TikTok. I will do that for my next live. Maybe tomorrow I'll do that because we're going sliding tomorrow. So maybe tomorrow I'll do a snow angel live on TikTok. How's that sound? This morning, Brian doesn't even know. Brian, this morning, if you look, I did a TikTok in my hot tub in the middle of the blizzard.
I haven't even seen that one yet. I'll have to watch that.
Oh, yeah. That was live on TikTok this morning. And of course, I told everybody when I get to 200,000 followers, I'm going to have to do something really special. So I don't know if it would be the snow angel. I don't know what it would be. They talk about that, that trend now where the girls put bikinis on and go out in the snow. But nobody wants to see me in a bikini. Let's see.
Yeah. You might dip below 200,000 if you went out in a bikini.
Yeah, no kidding. So people are asking me to see the outside again. So let me go in the back. Like I said, from this room, I have a 360-degree view around the back of my house.
In the sunroom?
I'm in the sunroom, yes. So let me just show everybody outside. So this is the outside. You can see the snow over at the pool house is really getting closer to the window, almost covering that electric plug. There's snow on the slide, so I don't think I'll be going on the slide today. But anyway, that's it. Trampoline doesn't have much snow on it. I could go on that. But anyway, so we do have a lot of snow in the back. And I told everybody, that's right there. Of course, it's covered with snow. That's a gas-fired fire pit. Picked it up at Home Depot. That's going to be the talk of the town. So Brian's roommate Tim knows a lot about football too.
Yeah, he's definitely Tom Brady. The breaking news: Adam Schefter is now reporting it.
Okay.
Moments ago that Tom Brady's going to retire.
Okay, so now it's been confirmed.
This was about 20 minutes ago. It was reported.
So it's been confirmed.
Yep.
All right.
Yeah,
So TikTok is texting me, tips for going live. Well, that's a little late. I'm already live. Thanks. Day late and $1 short. Let's see. Yeah, he has a cheap phone. Believe me, his phone aggravates me. It doesn't even work in our office. I try calling him in the office. I can't reach him.
It works. Listen, it works in the office as long as I'm not at my desk. If I walk across the hall to Mark's office, or if I go into the warehouse, I've got no problems whatsoever. It's just my office.
Yeah.
On my desk.
Yeah, that's great. So listen, I want to remind everybody, I do record all my live TikToks, and I do put them on my YouTube channel afterward. So if you miss anything from this exciting live today, this unbelievable live, probably my best live ever, you can go on my YouTube channel, Jeff Never Had Job Security, and watch it later on there, okay? Somebody's telling Ian to use my credit card while they're out in California. Yeah, he does use my credit card. He has my credit card and uses it, trust me. Trust me, they all use my credit cards. Brian, am I right? How much, Brian, how much do we spend, tell everybody how much we spend in gas and Butler Waste every month?
Quite a few dollars.
What, 10,000?
Went through, in the month of October, we went through 2,217 gallons. So that was not one of our busier months.
So that's like $10,000 just for gas for Butler Waste, you know?
You figure it's about $3.70 a gallon, so do the math. That's quite a few dollars.
So what's a slap in the face is I have a Tesla, so I don't use any gas. But yet, that's true. Brian has a Prius, but yet we have these gas trucks, the garbage trucks, that go to $10,000 a month. You know, hey, Sarah's here. Give me a hug. Is she on? Is she on? Generic username Sarah. Is she on? You know? Well, so somebody's talking about dermatology for animals. They have sensitive paws. Oh, I'm sure they do. But, you know, they run around in the snow. You know, my dogs were out today. It's so funny when they go out in the snow for the first time. They get a little nervous, and then they start jumping around and hopping around, having a great time. Of course, right now the snow's higher than my dogs. So we're going to have to, hey, Santa Monica, how you doing? Santa Monica just said, the temperature inside your house right now, my temperature? 65, because Ian said it was 65 in Palm Springs. Because my temperature here is about 70. I have it set at 70 right here. Yeah, I know. He's stuck in Palm Springs. He's poor thing. So it is funny when he went to Hawaii and he was on the wrong island. I was a nervous wreck because we had to get him to the conference on time. These conferences are $100,000, $150,000. They don't want to hear that they're technicians on another island. So that's the stress there, you know.
Did all the equipment go to the right island? I don't even remember that part of the story.
Yeah, we had a ship. Yeah. All the equipment went to the right place, went to the hotel.
Okay,
you know.
It's crazy expensive to rent it over there.
Let's see. I'm here. We're here. I'm just reading. I'm looking at questions. You know. I'm looking at questions. I guess I've answered them. Oh, there you go. Oh, there we go. Sarah, she's on. Sarah's from California, Brian.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, she follows me on TikTok.
Excellent.
Yeah, so Brian has to get an iPhone if he's going to want to join me live from now on instead of this cheapo thing. You know.
I'll probably set something up through Zoom eventually.
Well, so what did you do? You got your phone's an Obama phone, right?
No, my phone is a T-Mobile phone, but it's unlocked. But I have T-Mobile. So.
Oh, Brian.
Promotion, that's all I got.
Yeah, Brian is not married. He's very, very picky. So he's not married. Somebody's asking if you're married, Brian.
No, not yet.
He's very picky. You know.
Mistake.
Every time we see him, he's with somebody different because they're not good enough for him. So he keeps trying to. He moves on. You know. So, and let's see what else is there. Andrew's married. Brian's brother Andrew just got married. It was about a year now, right?
Yep.
A year now. He just celebrated his anniversary. So he's married to Nicole. You know, Brian's sister's married, Brittany. Brian's the last one in the family. You know? So Brian, you're what, 38? 39? How old are you?
38 years old. Yep.
All right. So Brian's 38. Now, I got married when I was 40. So you know what? You're not too late. You're not too late.
Not too late.
Nope.
Yet.
I got married when I was 40. So you're not too late. No problem at all. You know. But anyway, so that's the story with that. Anybody have any last minute questions before I leave my live? Aaron Rodgers. Somebody thinks Aaron Rodgers is going to retire. I don't know about that. Why would he retire? Is he retiring?
Yeah, I don't know. I think he's going to end up in Denver.
You think so?
His offensive coordinator just made head coach in Denver, and apparently last year he had told the offensive coordinator that he wanted out of Green Bay, and that if he ended up getting a head coach job last year, he was going to try to force his way to that team. So we'll see what happens there. Green Bay also is about $78 million over the cap, so it's going to be very difficult for them to re-sign Devontae Adams and Marquez Valdez-Scantling, which are both of his two favorite receivers. So,
Really?
I wouldn't be surprised if all three of them ended up with Denver.
So there's going to be a lot of movement in the NFL then this off season.
There will be, yeah, for sure.
Okay. All right. Interesting. Well, that's why I think
especially with the big names.
that's why I want to start doing my podcast, so I can have you guys on as guests and really we can talk about all this stuff because it's very interesting. Even on my TikTok live, I'm looking at some people here that definitely have some information, things to offer, some opinions to offer. So that absolutely. I got some followers on here, and that's good. That's good. So anybody else before I go? Anybody have any questions? Who's going to Denver? Make Money is smart. Let's Make Money. I'll tell you. So Make Money is one of my followers, Brian. He's on. He's also a moderator. He helps me run my lives. He gets rid of all the trolls and the pests, and he's very smart. He's always talking about football too. So that's cool. We'll have to maybe get him on, and do a co-host type of thing too. But anyway, today I have 1.8 views. I guess it is. I guess that's good, right? 1.5 likes. Yeah, that's all right. I like likes. And I don't know what I'm up to. I think I'm almost up to 200,000 followers. I was at 199 this morning.
You've been sitting there for a little bit. You gotta get over that precipice, and then it's all gravy.
That's right. It's all gravy from there. That's exactly right. Well, you know what? I'm never going to get the followers that some of these really cool creators get. They ask for likes, they ask for followers. I don't do that. I just share information.
Well, I was going to say, you would never self-promote, but I'll do it for you. Tell all your friends. You got all the people watching today. Tell all your friends.
Well, and the other thing,
to like and follow.
The other thing that my TikToks are really good for, and I tell people this, they're a great sleep aid at night. If you have a hard time sleeping, watch them. They're a great sleep aid. You know what I'm saying? The problem is they fall asleep and then they forget to hit the like or the follow. So, but they are great sleep aids. My TikToks, I promote them as sleep aids. I do. Anyway, I guess that's it. Yeah, I do say I do. Snow. To me, it looks like the snow is stopping. I don't give a shit what the weather people say. They said it's supposed to go to 8 o'clock. It's 3:30, and it hasn't snowed in an hour. It's just windy. What do you think, Brian? What are you doing, Brian? What are you getting in East Providence?
Last I checked, we were looking at 21 inches as what we would be getting.
Really? All right. So here's the snow above my door. Well, actually, you know what? I'm looking here. It's snowing here. I think people can probably see it. The snow is definitely...
So, according to weather.com, the last 24 hours we've gotten 19 inches around here, and there's another 7 inches to come in the next 12 hours.
Okay. All right.
So, it's going to be about 26 inches when it's all said and done.
Wow.
Give or take.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well,
I can tell right now they went from a plow to one of those big, not a bobcat, but like the big vehicle, construction vehicle above that, the front loader.
Oh, okay.
In a parking lot just a few minutes ago, doing some plowing and moving the snow.
So
The plow was not able to push it anymore.
So here's the good news. We're all going to be stuck in our house. The bad news for TikTok is I guess I'll be doing a lot of lives this weekend.
Yeah, bad news, there's still a lot of free time, guys. So I have a lot of extra clips.
That's exactly right. I do have a couple. So I am going to answer some questions this afternoon and put some TikToks up because people ask me a lot of questions, But anyway, I'm going to get going now, everybody. So here's the story. I appreciate you joining me, Brian. I'm going to answer some questions on TikTok this afternoon. There's some real estate questions that came up. And Blizzard Butler 2022. So that's what it's gonna. That's what I'll call it on my YouTube channel. I'll call it that. Make money. That's what I'll call it. But, Blizzard Butler Live, TikTok Live 2022. That way, people look, it looks like snow's coming out of my head. Hey, this morning I was in the hot tub. True story, Brian. I'm in the hot tub making a joke, doing a TikTok, and the top of my whole head got cold, and I felt it, and it was literally ice. Ice formed on top of my head while I was sitting in the hot tub. Yeah, ice formed.
It's that's why you got to dip your head under the water once in a while.
Yep, exactly. So anyway, but yeah, so I'm going to answer some more questions this afternoon, and then I'll probably do another live tomorrow. Why not? Tomorrow afternoon. You know, in between games. What time's the games tomorrow?
Last I checked, I think it was 3:30 and 6:30. I will double check it right now while I have you on the phone here. Yep, 3 o'clock and 6:30.
3 o'clock and 6.
Cincinnati, Kansas City, Cincinnati and Kansas City is at 3.
All right.
And
So
Los Angeles is 6:30.
maybe I'll do it. So I might do one at 5 o'clock for an hour, or I could do one after the 6:30 game, 9 o'clock. You know what I'm saying? So I'll definitely do a live TikTok tomorrow. Why not? It's fun. I enjoy it. You know. So anyway, stay safe, everybody, in the weather. And 3:30 and 6:30. So I'll probably do one in between, or tomorrow night late. Everyone's home enjoying themselves. You know what I'm saying? Or I could actually do a 1 o'clock one tomorrow. That's what I could do. Maybe a 1 o'clock. I'll put it on there. I'll post it when I decide what I'm going to do it. That way, everybody will know when I'm going live. You know.
Absolutely.
So anyway, I want to thank Make Money for being my moderator and keeping all the trolls and pests and jerks and haters and hecklers away, and makes the TikTok a little bit more fun. So, Sarah's not home. Oh, you're going to the beach? Sure, she's going to the beach while we're over here in the freezing cold winter. Thanks a lot. You know, when I get over on the West Coast, you better invite me over. That'll be good. So, when's the housing crash hitting? Hopefully not for a long time. I think it's going to hit after the auctions start up again. That's my prediction. My prediction is you're going to have auctions start up again. 6 months later, you're going to see the housing prices come down because there'll be more houses on the market. So, sunny California. I know sunny California. Rub it in. You're killing me over here. So, anyway, that's generic username. That's her name, by the way, Brian, on TikTok. Her name is generic username. Yep, that's her name on TikTok.
That's a pretty good name.
It is generic username, but her really name is Sarah. She's going to the beach. Anyway, all right. Well, thank you very much for joining me. I will be on tomorrow, and Clarkson, Washington. You're having snow again. Yep. Thank you. Have fun at the beach, Sarah, and everyone enjoy the snow. Enjoy the blizzard. I'll do some more questions later on today. I'll post them, and then I'll be back alive again tomorrow. We'll do a double.